Right, let me know if that works.
Let us see, if we're live indeed.
Not yet.
Uh,
Yep, we are live.
Yay, we
live.
figured
We
it
are live,
out.
everyone. Unnecessary rambling. Brandon, take us away. We are live, Brandon. I'm looking on public
Jesus
feed. We're live.
Christ. We're in there, my good people.
Yeah, no
So lead us away,
editing, no
sir.
editing out the blunders like you usually
Nope.
do. They can roll with it.
Blunder away,
Nice,
Brandon. Blunder us
nice.
away, sir.
Well, my good people, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, any live viewers, for rolling in, and thank you to everybody watching this. I guess I should go ahead and start my thing here. That way I can take some timestamps as we go on. We're going to be doing our top 10 games of 2024, and not just our top 10 games of 2024, but well, it's your top 6 games of 2024, but close to a top 10 of 2024. And yeah, man, pumped to have you all on board. Joined by the homie Loon and the homie Jeffrey in the building. Loon is running the ones and the twos, making everything happen on the back end. So thank you, Loon, for that.
Brandon, I think we need to Brandon, you're not doing it. Do it with me. We need to do a round of applause for Loon right now. Do the freaking round of applause now. Thank you.
Oh god. Yeah, it was
Loon,
Good job, my
you're a
it
hero.
was-
You're the
it
hero.
was something. My god.
Took 12 hours, but we got here.
All right. So we got
'Kay.
some live chats rolling in. Your mistake, sir. How are you, my brother? Scorns in the building. Cool. So, all right, guys.
Oh, before we
what we're doing.
continue on, sorry to cut you off. Because it's doing it through the stream key thing. When I was doing it through my channel, I was able to see the chat on the right. So I'm gonna be in the dark. So
Okay, cool.
I'm not
Yeah, I
gonna be
can just-
ignoring anybody. I just wanted to point that out. I
We
can't
both
see
bring-
that at the moment.
You have the chat pulled up, Brandon. I also have the chat pulled up. So don't worry, guys, in the chat. We'll keep it.
Cool.
This is like our first time as a trio doing this also. So if anyone's here, hey, we're just doing the best we can, trying to make this fun for everyone. So bear with us. We're getting this nailed down for some other fun content coming up. Isn't that right, Brandon?
Absolutely, man. And yeah, I thought that this would be a good one just to kind of test out. We're just gonna sort of hang out here today for an hour and 30 minutes, something like that. Shoot the breeze with y'all and present your games of the year that was voted on what was that? A few weeks ago at this point, when I asked you to comment your game of the year in the old video that I did. We got a lot of comments, man. Like, think over 65, 70 comments, something like that on the video. So a lot of people jumping in and submitting their games of the year. Thank you very much. I do have a plan for next year to make it a little bit more engaging for everybody. I'll just leave that there. It's not like some big elaborate thing, but I think I got a really good solution, a middle ground. Because last year, you know how we did the polls and all that? I think there's a good way to do both to where, well, I guess I'll just spoil the damn plan. It's not like I'm masterminding back here.
But before you spoil anything, your mistake, sir, says practice makes perfect, so he understands. And Scorns, with the nice little thing, says this stream bringing in more views than GTA 6.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
So we're gonna get more than GTA 6 in this. No pressure. So Loon, don't screw it up. Come on.
Does that mean
Yeah,
we can
there's no doubt.
monetize it like GTA 6 guys? know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Probably.
retiring. We're gonna retire off of this stream. So this is our first and last stream as a trio, as we get hundreds of millions of dollars from this, and go off into the sunset and retire on a beach somewhere with the Hauser brothers. I guess just one of the Hauser brothers at this point. So what I'm thinking of doing next year is I'm gonna have like 100 games listed out. And I'm going to put that out in a community post or, in a video and have it in the description. And then I'm going to have people go in and say, anything you want to add to it, add to it. And I'll just make this massive bracket, this humongous thing, like this sprawling, just gargantuan game of the year thing. And then people can actually go in and vote on it through the poll system like we did last year. Because there is something fun about the poll.
Yep.
The poll is fun. And missing that this year, I was like, that's a missing element that would be fun, especially in a format like this, to react to it. That'd be really fun.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that's good plan next year.
I love that you're already worrying and planning for next year, and we
He
haven't
always
even done
does.
this year
He's
yet.
always thinking 12 steps ahead.
Which is a good thing. But what I like that it just makes me laugh that we're like next year, and right now we haven't even done this year, or technically last year. What year is it? 2026, 7? What year are we in? I don't even know.
Yeah, I
Brant-
think the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Was there a chat that I missed?
Who's, do you want to keep up with chat? Do you want me to? Do we both do it? I just want to make sure we're never missing people's comments because we want to make sure
I mean,
we
I'll
keep
be
up.
yeah, I'll be looking down there. I mean, we don't have to hit them immediately as they roll in.
Immediately.
But yeah, you know, we'll keep a tab on it and make sure that everybody is welcomed into this big discussion. We're also going to be doing our collective top 10 games of 2024 at the end of this stream. So stay tuned. A lot of good stuff in the works here. Yeah, man. So how are y'all feeling? How y'all living? Jeffrey, how you feeling, my guy?
I'm excited that our number one game is going to be Concord. So that's going to be, I think, a good thing. So I'm excited to talk about that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
I was expecting a little more laughter, so that was unfortunate.
I was hoping for some Hellblade 2 myself, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Suicide
quite
Squad.
like the mania that we just experienced setting this damn thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty much Senua at this point.
Oh, jeez. Hey,
Yeah.
this is going to be
I'm
fun.
beautiful like she is, right? I'll start making
Yes.
all the weird faces.
Can you start? Can
Yeah.
you showcase? Can you showcase one of those? There you go.
Yeah, hit that motion capture booth for us, Lone.
You should.
Yeah,
Lou.
so we were actually talking about that. It'd be fun to do like a maybe next year, like a most disappointing game. We kind of did we do that in the award show, Lone? Most disappointing?
I think we did.
What won that?
I don't remember.
I don't
was
remember
so-
either.
Mediocre. That it left and just. I think we did.
It might have been Hellblade. It might
Gentlemen?
have been Hellblade.
Gentlemen, I think your mistake, sir, knows something that I think he's foreshadowing something that's to come on the channel. That's kind of funny.
Uh-oh, what is it?
Why don't you take a look at his last little live chat? That's kind of funny. He's foreshadowing something. It's like he almost knows what we're going to do. That's pretty exciting. About the tournament, about games. It's almost like we did something like that, didn't we? He knows.
Oh, wow.
See? How does he know that? Ooh. Your
Who's been
mistake, sir. You're
leaking him
good.
information.
That's actually, huh? 'Cause
That's
we
kind of funny.
could absolutely do that live next year and have people vote live. Like
Brandon.
that would be.
What about this year? What about what
No,
are we
I know,
doing this
but
year?
But he's talking about the next year thing. So I was thinking about the next year thing. Oh, but yeah, this year we well, I don't want to spoil that now. Well yeah, we'll fuck it. We'll spoil it. We got a we got the revival tournament hitting your feeds. That should be sometime in the next couple weeks. I mean, we're so backlogged with content on the channel. I think Jeffrey, you and I have like 2 videos that I haven't published yet. Loon, I think we got probably like 3-4 videos that I haven't published yet. It's yeah, we got a lot of yeah, and your mistake, sir, says I've been around a long time. I know how y'all think. That is very, very true, man. That is very
Is he
true.
from
And a lot of
Easygoing
y'all-
Gaming Days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are, surprisingly enough. A lot of people kind of and the crazy thing is there was really no way of figuring out how it transitioned over from one to the other, you know? So it's just sort of by the algorithm gods pushing it back into, but I guess that's the thing. If you like that sort of content, you're gonna
Like
end
you
up
like that
finding it.
slop, here's more.
Yeah, absolutely.
The people wanted you, Brandon. The people needed you.
They the people always come through for me, man, and I greatly appreciate the community, and that's why I wanted to you know kick this off with the live stream. It's not the first live stream I've done on the channel, but I think it's going to be the first high quality live stream that we've done on the channel with Loon operating the old operating board. And yeah, because every time I've ever done one, it's been a total disaster. So I thought this would be a fun way to kick it off. So I guess without any further ado, how about we go ahead and hop into the topic of the show, and I'll jot this down as a timestamp for the people who will be tuning in after the fact.
While you're jotting that down, Scorns is also from Easygoing Gaming Days. So you got some real fans, Brandon. People want to hear what you have to say, man, which is exciting. So I'm here for you, Loon. I want to hear what you have to say. I don't care about Brandon's opinion. So
Well, did you see the crazy thing as well when we was doing? That kind of spoils it though. I can't.
Spoil
but you've
it.
already let the cat out of the bag, so you might as well
No,
now. So
no, I gotta zip the mouth on that.
okay, all
Are
right.
you spoiling a winner?
Not a winner, but like a certain trailer that dropped. Very similar to what I was trying to
What?
sell.
Oh.
Yep. Bloodwalker
Wait.
or whatever.
Oh, was it? Well, now I like that you just said it anyway. Wait, is that supposed to be like a game that has creatures of the night?
It's from
Yeah.
it's got vampires in it. It's meant to be. It's basically a core section of the CDPR team moved away, started their own studio. So it is just going to have the DNA of The Witcher 3, just with vampires and stuff. I don't think you're playing as a vampire though, so that's the only.
You are.
Oh, you are.
Yep, you're playing as a half human, half vampire, and you're kind of dealing with that. I don't know if it's half and half, but it's some. You have
Stole my
some
idea.
tinge. Yeah,
They
they
did
did
steal-
straight.
Like as well.
What's
that's
the
what I
name
was
of the
saying.
game? What's this name of the game? Because I saw the trailer, but if for anyone that's watching right now, what is the name of the game you're talking about?
I forget.
Is
It's
it Blood
the
of the Dawnwalker or something?
Hang on.
I think-
Hang
yeah,
on. It's right
Blood
here.
of the
I got it.
Dawnwalker.
It's keep filling for time. I can't find it.
Yeah, it's Bandai.
Wait,
Is,
the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Yeah, Blood of Dawnwalker. That was it.
Blood of Dawnwalker. So you're saying that's special.
Yeah, looked really cool, really interesting, and they robbed my idea. So how dare they?
Again, you could have stolen their ideas, but it's fine.
No,
It's-
never.
Man, I bought this. I bought this damn webcam. I'll switch to it real quick. It's such dog shit.
You're still very pretty. We
Like almost nothing changes the picture quality. Almost nothing changes at all. Still low
It's
res.
not terrible though.
you're just
Well,
you're too good looking that it breaks cameras, you know. So.
I
We
think
should say
that's
we got
what
12
happens.
people here. We got 12 people here live right now, which is awesome.
Double figures for the
Nice.
first. There we go.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
guys.
Which is even more impressive as well. You know, continue patting ourselves on the back. We didn't even announce that we were doing this.
Yeah,
Right.
good point.
Thrown
This
out
is
into the ether randomly at 20 past 8 at night in the UK.
well.
Whatever
Thank you to
time it
everyone.
is over in the US.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, man, I greatly appreciate all of you good people tuning in. This is good. This is the new unnecessary live era of the old unnecessary rambling. And yeah, I felt like what better way to kick it off than with y'all's game of the year. So Loon, I'm going to hit you. And so what ended up happening? We have a lot of individual games of the year that the community submitted, but I went with a top 6 that multiple people voted for. And then when we're going to get into the honorable mentions, I'll read through some of those other honorable mentions. Because people had some cool stuff to say about their favorite games of the year, and I want to make sure that that gets shouted out. So, Loon, Jeffrey, what do you think the people voted on as their number 6 game of
Oh,
the
you're gonna hit
year?
us with
What?
number 6? Oh god.
Kong
6.
Survival Instinct. You're making us guess?
Yeah, hit me with
How do you
some
even begin
predictions,
to
man.
guess number 6? Like, how do you even begin to?
That's what
like,
kind of. I thought you was gonna get us the guess on number 1. Number 6. Stellar Blade. I'll go.
Very close. Very, very close. So, Jeffrey, that's a hint your way. What is something that came out in 2024 that is very close to Stellar Blade?
The Community.
You're supposed to fill
They are
when I'm looking pensively. You're supposed to fill for time here, so I don't look like a complete idiot.
Oh well, I have an
wonder-
excuse because all I see is OneNote. I have that full screen on my screen, so I don't see anything. I'm completely.
All right, so
blind.
number 6 is like Stellar Blade, but not Stellar Blade.
Another action game.
Yeah, I got it.
Hit me.
Evil West.
I wish, bro.
Not from 2024, but I just Evil West. I'm sure that's what it is. So
We need another Evil West
Oh.
every year.
I think Panda Grog in the chat maybe got it. Wukong.
Black Myth Wukong.
Black
is
Myth
number
Wukong.
6, the sixth best game according to the Unnecessary Rambling community is Black Myth Wukong.
Hey,
I still need to play this thing. I actually had it. Tell me, this is such a YouTube content brained, just horrible brain mindset to have. I had this thing pre-ordered physically. And then after 2024, because it came out in like December, and I knew I wasn't going to have enough time to get to it before Game of the Year. And after I did my Game of the Year, I was just like, I I don't really have any interest in playing this for any reason other than for Game of the Year. Like it was after 2024 was up, I was like, well, what content can I make out of Black Myth Wukong now? I mean, that's a horrible mindset to have, but that's genuinely how I was thinking. So I ended up canceling the pre-order and putting it down for like
How much is
oh,
that
I-
based in it just being another Souls like though? When you get back down to like the nitty gritty, like are you just
yeah.
zoned out on them to the point where like even because Elden Ring, you know, dominated back in what 2023 when it dropped.
Yeah.
You never
Let's-
dove into it and gave it a go.
Oh, I did. I played about probably 7-ish, 5-6 hours of Elden Ring. And I mean, it's the thing for me where like, and I played it when it came out. I'm always gonna check out. Usually, I'm always gonna check out something that's that big. You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious of what makes. I'm curious of what clicked with people to that degree. So there's always going to be that level of curiosity with me where when the big games hit. But there, yeah, no doubt, Loon. Did it anytime a new Souls like drops, my eyes do kind of glaze over a bit. But I will say, visually, world building, this thing looks unbelievable. Black Myth Wukong is one of the few next gen looking video games to have released in 2024. So shout out to it for that.
and shout out to JW who's here and says that he's working, but they're going to comment. So thank you. And Panda Grog is going to try to get all 6 out of 6. So we got everyone in these comments, man. This live chat is smart. They think it's almost like you fed them the list ahead of time. It's almost like they were a part of the comment. Some might say. So thank you to you guys for being a part of that. It's awesome. Go ahead. I was going to say the joy of live. The joy of live. I tried. So the one thing I really like about PlayStation Plus stuff, I think you have to pay for, it's like the highest tier one, however they break it down. Yep. But for the highest tier one, you have game trials. And I've really come to love PlayStation Plus for the game trials because they release them pretty often. They're usually between like 2 and 5 hours, which is a pretty good amount of time. So there was one that released and it's still there for Black Myth Wukong. I had zero interest in this game because, again, even though they say it's not a Souls-like, I wanted to dive into and just see. I downloaded the trial. It's 2 hours long. Personally, and again, this is just personal, they say it's not a Souls-like. Every single facet of it, to me, felt like a boss rush Souls-like. So I fell off it within 45 minutes. The first like mini boss I got pummeled by over and over. I was like, you know what? A, I'm not good at games like to do this, but B, it didn't feel like an action adventure. It felt like a Souls-like, which is fine, and that's just wonderful, but like personally, I don't like those kind of games. So I'm just confused of the messaging because they lean so hard into trying to make it not be a Souls-like, right? For all accounts, it felt exactly like a Souls-like. So visually it's stunning, but man, I'm just confused why they didn't lean into that more because it comes across as a Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, all the above. So from my experience, but.
So I just thought of something, a little wrinkle that I can. Is it legal to allow your community into like some sort of gambling thing? Like if I said right now, if anybody can guess the next 5 games, that I'll send them a game or is that allowed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a giveaway, isn't it?
That's a giveaway.
Okay,
yeah.
as long as it's not cash. That's where it gets kind of murky.
Oh, so I can't do cash? All right, never mind.
No,
I'd rather
and you
do-
also just don't make it like. You know what? Maybe just don't do any of this. Maybe just don't do any of that.
Okay. Yeah, it'd just be fun to like, I don't know, say, hey, if anybody can predict the next 5 games, here's $100. $70 to go buy a video game,
Eh,
whatever. That'd be
that's
fun. I
murky
don't know.
waters. You can do giveaways in like videos and comments, but that's going to get a little bit murky.
It's so weird that you can give away a game. Like the only reason I would rather do money than a game is I don't want to ship anything to anybody. Like, I don't want
It's
to get.
because of the whole implication of taxes and stuff. Because when you buy the game, you get taxed, don't you? If you're shipping money here, there, and everywhere, that's where
Yeah.
it kind of gets like, ooh. That's why they
Government's
put their
lame.
foot down.
If you
never
guess
wants to have
it,
any
Brandon
fun.
will fly to where you are personally and give you a hug.
Yeah. Hi.
He'll beat Elden Ring. He'll beat Black Myth Wukong for you. There you go.
Live stream while we watch and laugh, Loon.
It'd be live streaming through Loon somehow. Loon would have to be like capturing my. All right, Black Myth Wukong, number 6 game of the year from thy community.
Good choice.
Number 5. Are you ready
Yep.
for number 5? Loon, I'm gonna give you a hint. This is something that you have a little bit of passion for. A game that you enjoy.
It's got to be sports, right, Loon?
It can't be metaphor, surely.
It's not
I
metaphor.
was gonna say down in 5th. I don't. Oh,
Oh, and actually, I should say that 6, 5, and 4 are all tied. So you can just do. It doesn't. We can just put like tie next to it. That part doesn't matter.
I don't actually know. You have
You're
me. You have me
close.
at a loss.
Loon, do you want a hint from the live chat from Panda?
Yeah, can I call a friend?
Yeah, you can phone a friend. So phoning a friend, Panda Grog is your friend. I'm not going to give it away what he says, but think of a certain area of the world in the east. We've talked about sleeping dogs. What's similar to that you kept talking about in a video?
God, you're putting me on the spot.
Come on, it's an Eastern inspired game like Sleeping Dogs, but you said you already have enough of these games.
They make
What-
more games than probably anybody else on the planet.
Goro
And they
Majima.
reuse-
Hello.
Oh my God, Infinite Wealth. Jesus Christ. It's because I'm juggling so many things behind
Is
the
that
scene.
is that it, Brandon? Is it Yakuza?
No, it's
Okay,
not
all right.
Infinite Wealth. Loon, you were actually closer with Metaphor. A prolific publisher.
I know what it is now.
Yeah,
You
I
might
give
be
up.
surprised that people even voted for it.
I give up.
Wait, what? Is it
Jeffrey,
Rebirth?
what- No.
The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? It's
'Cause
not.
that's what I was gonna. These are the things that rattling. There's no way these are that low. That's my.
What other? You're saying it's like Metaphor? Wait, would it be
Think-
Persona 3 Gold? No, one of the
It's
Persona
the
3
other
like
one. It's the other one. I'll just say
Persona.
that.
With the other one, what?
The other one published by Atlas this year.
Oh, Unicorn Overlord.
Unicorn.
Oh wow, I would have
Overlord
not
got-
expected that.
I
What?
know it. I know it.
Oh.
Unicorn
That
Overlord
beat
tied with.
Black Myth. Oh
No,
my
it tied with Black Myth. It tied with
Okay.
Black
I was
Myth.
about
So, yep.
to say.
People
the
really
order-
love Unicorn Overlord. I've heard so much discourse of people that have actually played it are really, really like enamored by it, which for good reason. If you like, because isn't it a strategy? No, isn't it like a tactical RPG or strategy
It's
RPG?
it's very similar to something like Fire Emblem.
Okay.
But I can only speak. I've only played one Fire Emblem, so I don't know if they all follow that trend. But it's not grid based. It's kind of like a real time strategy kind of thing, where you have control and you're moving units and stuff. But when it
People
comes
love
to
those
the,
kind of games.
yeah, when it comes to the combat, it then rips it into a turn based combat system per se, but you
Okay.
don't get to choose what they do. You basically build a template as to how you want them to act outside of battle, and then when you get into battle, it's all AI driven kind of thing. So like,
Oh, so both sides are AI driven.
yeah. Did
Okay.
you ever play Dragon Age Origins? And do you know how you could set parameters for your companions and stuff? Do this
Yeah.
when it's basically that. Do this
Interesting.
when it's at 70% and stuff like that.
Have you guys seen, apart from like the community, because that's a cool shout out. This is what's cool about like comment sections and these kind of things, because you get to learn about so many different games, right? Like whether it's a small indie game or like a bigger, still kind of RPG game. Have you guys seen Unicorn Overlord on any other like lists or videos of best games from 2024? Because I don't think I have.
No,
Have
that's
either
why
of
I
you?
blanked on it. So,
Just Loon.
I
That's
gave
why I
it
was
a
surprised
shout
you
out.
didn't hit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So two people write in the comments. JW says Unicorn Overlord is my current, and it's pretty often and it's pretty awesome. Scorn said it's a great tactical RPG, very
Mm.
strategic in the veins of Fire Emblem, like you said, Loon, and has a beautifully designed world. So it sounds like a pretty. Are either of you going to play it? Do you think, based on what people are
I
saying, or
finished
not?
it, but that's what I mean. I didn't think that enough
Oh,
people voted on it that it would have
you finished
been
it.
tied
Okay.
with Black Myth. There's something
Interesting.
I want to give a shout out to it though for like positive. You go to these different zones and everything, and the thing that kind of gets boring after a while in a lot of JRPGs
Mhm.
is they reuse music. But they put you in these zones for, say, I don't know, depending how much side stuff you do, you could be in there for like 5 hours. And it's a really strong soundtrack. And then you'll move to, say, the snowy area next, and it's a completely different background soundtrack. And that's just really well done. So, like, shout out to that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There is
And
also a demo of it on. There's a demo of it, I think, at least on PlayStation, I believe. So you could at least try it if anyone's interested. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Panda
Sorry,
said,
Lou.
I think way too many JRPGs released this year. And I think that's definitely a big problem in 2024 where you had so many big
Mm.
JRPGs kind of fighting for everybody's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving on into number 4,
Number 4.
which is also tied with 6 and 5. But number 4.
Okay.
What came out this year that was a little bit divisive, maybe didn't have the strongest launch, but has a cult following unlike maybe any other video game franchise ever?
What? Should we do this as like you're pitching it to us like a game show and Loon and I have to like first to buzz in?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll
Do you want to do that, Loon? Okay.
All right,
I mean,
so
What?
I'll buzz in. Does it? It's not a one and out deal, right? We can do multiple guesses.
oh yeah, absolutely.
No, you're out the rest of the
Celebrate?
show now. You can't talk anymore now after that.
What'd you say, Loom?
Stellar Blade.
Not Stellar Blade. Not Stellar Blade.
Jesus Christ, that's if that because you said it's on this list, so it's even higher than that. What the hell?
Stalker 2?
Stalker 2.
I can't take that. That's Panda Grog. Panda Grog guessed that. I can take 0 credit. So Panda Grog, you're 4 for, I don't know.
Jesus
Panda,
Christ.
if the government wasn't such assholes, I'd send you some cash. Oh,
Stalker
yeah,
2,
dude.
interesting. That's another one you don't hear about like a lot, right? In terms of like best games. Interesting.
Stalker 2,
Um,
dude.
Do you?
It's that's the thing. It's the cult following, man. The
I've heard a
people
lot
who
of people.
really,
Yeah.
yep, the people
Okay.
who love it love that thing. And I feel like Loon. I think Stalker 2 is going to be a game in like 2027 that you end up going back to, and you play like 70 hours in it, and you'll be praising it from the mountaintops. I think it was that thing where when it came out, it was just a little bit rough,
Yep.
especially on console. But yeah, I mean, well, incredibly atmospheric, top tier atmosphere.
Yeah, they just needed to sort out for me the biggest problem was the lighting. Was
Yep.
the big thing is that, and I know that kind of that leads into the atmosphere, but I think it could have been a little bit better. And something that I learned playing that game is foliage density. I really don't need you turning that up to 11 when you have AI that can beam me from like 300 meters away. I much preferred the original Stalker game when it was scaled back and the environments weren't as lush. It kind of made it a little bit more easier to know what was going on. But you know, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
looking game.
And that's the thing as well. Panda said, I want to play it this year when A Life gets reintroduced into the game. And then Scorn says, first Stalker was great. Second game could have been a bit better performance wise. So it's like,
Yeah.
that seems to kind of be the consensus is like, it's such a really, really strong thing as is, but over time it's going to become even better. So that's one that I feel like we're going to have to watch out for in the coming years. So now we head on in to number 3.
Free. Numero
Solo.
Frio.
Jeffrey, number 3. I'll say this. Y'all have already been very close to this game so far, to guessing it. What could it possibly be? It came from a location that a lot of great games came from in 2024. Some would say it came from a label that a lot of great games were released out
Rebirth?
of.
Stellar Blade.
Birth. Not Stellar Blade.
You got to keep giving us hints. You got to keep feeding us hints when we don't have anything yet. Keep giving us little like nuggets until we get there.
Yeah, what's the
It's
genre?
a game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I give you the genre, I think you're going to get it. It's a JRPG.
My goodness. Wow. Is it the one I've talked about, Brandon, that was on my higher up in my ranking, came out in December? No, that maybe
No.
that doesn't ring a bell to you. It's not that. Okay.
What came out
No.
in December?
I'm playing so much Visions of Mana. It's awesome. So
Oh,
good.
that's great.
It came out in December. Yeah, it's phenomenal. So it's not that. Okay.
Loon.
Persona 3 Reload?
Oh,
No, but
metaphor.
no. Metaphor. Bingo.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Loot, metaphor, obviously. Again, that was Panda Grog again.
I'm
for the
really
win.
hoping it got number 2.
Nope.
That's
Sorry.
me being biased.
I want to jump back to Stalker real quick before, because I had this blurb pulled out, and let me go ahead and make sure that I get the user who commented it, because I actually pulled a few quotes out. I want to make sure I hit these quotes for the people who submitted their game of the year and left a little blurb. Let's see. The user is Braden. Said, despite the bugs and rocky launch, it is one of the most immersive games I have ever played, and the world and presentation is one of my favorites in gaming, period, for Stalker 2. And then for Metaphor, we actually don't have a blurb for Metaphor, but for the next ones, for every other game from here on, we do have some kind words that were submitted by the community. So, Loon, I'll actually let you kind of take this one away and give your kind words for Metaphor, because if I'm not mistaken, my friend, did you vote for this as well?
Yeah, I decided it's the kind of thing where I won't lie this year. If you prodded me on a month-to-month basis, it probably would have changed. And it still probably would change if you ask me in like 6 months' time what was my game of the year. Because so many good titles came out this year. But for Metaphor, it was surprising because I wouldn't say I wrote it off, but I was fairly skeptical that they would be able to branch out of the Persona space and actually give us a new IP. I think it also helps that, to the benefit of the game, they stuck with so much of the core DNA. They didn't shake it up all that much. There's a lot of monsters from Persona that they kind of pulled over with the archetype system and stuff that you can turn into. It's kind of like nods to Personas from previous games. But it's definitely an incredible title, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go. Are they going to play it safe? Because it was fairly safe. I want to also add, as good as the game is, it's very safe. Are they going to play it safe for Persona 6, or are they going to go very, very ambitious and reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to throw in one more, Scorn says Metaphor ReFantasio is perhaps the greatest IP from Atlas that they have ever created. It's what Persona 5 became, but more fantasy driven, and instantly deserves to be in the RPG landscape. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see more Metaphor, like a sequel to it in the future. And then, yeah, Panda says best RPG Atlas created. Just wish the story was better, but it's 7th on his list. So, yeah, that there is numero 3. And now we head to, well, there's actually 3 more, but the top 2 and there's 2 tied for 2. So I guess we can do 7 and drop one down. So we have 2 games tied for number 2. And I'll let y'all,
Let's just order do that.
I'll give you a hint on both of them. And if you can get either of them, you are the winner. All right. So we have talked about this game, this action game. We have talked about it already once today in the stream that is tied at number 2. It is a beautiful game in various ways. And then we have the lone horror game on the list.
I mean,
Oh, well,
Silent
that
Hill
was-
2.
Yeah, that's. Wonder what that could be.
Loon, I think you already guessed the other one
Silent
originally. So remember when I said you're very stellar for all your work?
Yeah, that's crazy though, because we got it down to 3 more games. There's so many that have been missed out. Then
Yeah, but the number one is, I'm going to say, is pretty obvious in my book. So those two aren't surprising as number
So-
2.
Yeah. Stellar Blade, Mundane Morsels comes in and says, Stellar Blade for me, new IP, great gameplay and setting, music is bumping, and the icing on the cake is the accessibility. After stressfully playing Elden Ring and Lies of P, it's nice to be able to dumb it down a tad bit. So I think that is one of the cool things about Stellar Blade, where I played through it and there were 2 bosses that whooped my ass over and over and over. And I was like, all right, dropping this thing down to easy, getting through those 2 bosses and rolling on with it. And it's just always nice to be able to kind of dumb a game down a little bit if you want to. So Stellar Blade is tied at number 2 with Silent Hill 2. And dude, what else needs to be said about Silent Hill 2 that hasn't already been said? But I'll tell you what, we have the homie Chan.
you said Silent Hill 2
Chan's-
is number 2.
Yep, Silent Hill 2 and Stellar Blade tied at number 2.
We'll put Silent Hill above it.
Yeah, whatever. The order is fine. Chan's Wook Cook says, few words. Few words for Silent Hill 2. I tried the original back in the day, but it was too scary and clunky to get into. But all these years, I loved the Silent Hill art, the movie, Akira Yamaoka's music, and all the pop culture aspects of it, and kind of waited till this remake. And from the first second till the final credit, it delivered. It was something truly special for me. It's like revisiting my favorite game I have never played. Performance by Luke Roberts broke my heart. It was the best performance of the year, including movies. And yes, it was an incredible performance. Yeah, what a video game. I think we all can agree Silent Hill 2 is. Well, Loon, I guess you're still waiting on that Xbox. I'm sure it'll come to Xbox next year.
Silent Hill 2 was amazing though, so whoop whoop that I played this year.
Yeah. You played the original this year. That's right. And Jeffrey, that was like your top 3 favorite games of 2024?
Yeah, correct. It was. I wasn't one of those people that was. I actually really wasn't very skeptical on it. Of course, handing the reins over from a Japanese developer to, away from that is obviously going to be a risk. But I've liked a lot of Bloober Team's games, especially with their world building and their atmosphere, and that's such a huge part of what Silent Hill 2 is. It's the atmosphere, the feel, the vibe. Like going back and playing the original game, no game really matches that feel. Like there's just such an oppressive feeling that I don't know what it is. It's so palpable, but like the way Bloober Team managed to still do that in a completely reinvented way. I think the best thing you can say about it is there's a place for both games. I don't think the remake replaces the original at all, and vice versa. Whereas a lot of remakes can do that. Like for example, Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, I think replaces the original GameCube version. But if you look at a game like this, you can easily have 2 standing next to each other as both pinnacle horror experiences. The original is one of my favorite games of all time, and this game was fantastic. So yeah, it's not a surprise that it's up there. And thank goodness, because Bloober Team, they really, really honored the original game, which isn't always the case for remakes or remasters, So
I think Bloober put themselves in a funny spot with this remake where it was so good.
sorry.
It was so good that I don't know if anybody's ever been excited for an upcoming Bloober game. And now I think everybody is waiting for what Bloober is going to do next, which is a great spot for them to be in.
Did you see
as well? Then.
the The great little live chat from Physackle says, just waiting for Amazon to deliver my nappies before I play it. That's perfect. That's well said.
He's in the Discord. He's talked about wanting to try it, but horror just really isn't his thing. So
Yeah.
Make
You'll
sure
need
you,
boxes
make sure
of
you get
nappies.
some nice thick ones that are durable.
Get some elderly ones, you know, so because they really hold in a lot. Trust me, I know from experience. I'm too old.
I saw
All right,
another
so that
funny
means
line.
what's that?
Physical said, the 10 minutes of metaphor that I played before I got bored and fell asleep were incredible.
Yeah. Well
I
said.
feel you.
That could be true for almost any JRPG, though, I guess, to an extent, unless you're really into it.
Totally. Well,
Okay.
my friends, we are here. It is time for the community's number one game of the year.
I know what it is.
Loon, what do you think that is going to be, my friend?
It's the same thing that won at the Game Awards. It's the little Robo Boy.
Absolutely. Astrobot is number one. And Jeffrey, I'm gonna kick it to you. Out
Is that
the
all
gate.
one word, Astrobot, or is it two?
It's 2.
And because I know that was your game of the year, my friend, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. It was indeed. Have we all? I know you've played it, Brandon. Loon, did you play it as well?
Nope, I sold my PS5
Oh, okay. That's fair.
to allow us to do what we do now.
Okay.
That wasn't the sole reason. It was just kicking money towards it. The reason I sold,
That's fair.
I just didn't. I'm so entrenched in like the achievement system. It sat gathering dust, and there was literally no point in me holding on to it. Really, it's just under the desk for months and months and months. And although I could have utilized it this year and dived into stuff like Silent Hill 2 remake and stuff, because somebody put that in the comment of what I ranked as my game of the years, and they were saying, "Man, you missed out on so much." And it's like, granted, yeah, they were all titles I missed out on, but I
Mhm.
also felt throughout this entire year I had so much to play already. So even fathoming booting up a PS5 to put another 10 games onto that pile that's just stupid. There's no
Yeah.
way. I don't have every second of every minute of every day to devote to it, unfortunately. So
That's fair. Yeah,
Totally.
Astrobot. I mean, it's again, there's kind of like Silent Hill 2. There's not much else to be said. I mean, I'm personally, the platforming genre is my favorite genre. So, I mean, whether they're 3D platforms or 2D, I'm always going to be, it's going to be my cup of tea. But I didn't actually get it right when it came out, not because I wasn't excited for it, but I knew when I did play it, I wanted to just devote every night that I had a little bit of time to play for that game. So getting it even a month or two, a little bit after some of the zeitgeist died down, not that it fully did, because clearly it won game of the year, but it's just, it to me feels the closest and even better than some of what a Nintendo Mario type platformer would be. And I love Super Mario Odyssey and Astrobot. You can see pulled from the Galaxy games. It's just so polished and creative and fun and wholesome and whimsical. And like the level design is fantastic. The fact that they release free levels just after the fact, just like, here you go, have more fun, just shows that wholesome nature that the game industry kind of needs, definitely needs more of. So I'll leave it at that. I mean, everything's already been said about it, but the community really chose a good one with that. It's not a surprise, but it's a truly phenomenal game. Brandon, what did you think? I can't remember where you ranked it, but you did enjoy it, right?
Yeah, I don't remember where I ranked it either. We'll get into when we do our rankings, kind of
Yeah.
going through where we placed games because I don't remember where I ranked it. It was definitely top 10, I would assume. The game is incredible. It's cotton candy. It's pure, unstepped on, just absolute in the vein fun. You know what I mean? It is like it's so damn fun. Just consistently smile on your face from start to finish. And Dynasty Warrior 13 said it best. Astrobot all the way for me. It's some of the most fun gaming I've had in ages compared to when I was a kid. Gaming seems to take itself a lot more seriously now with dark, mature stories and brooding protagonists. Astrobot feels like a nostalgic throwback to an era when games were a lot more colorful and whimsical and didn't take themselves so seriously.
Mhm.
Astro to me is an embodiment of what I love most about video games. Just pure joyful escapism. Cannot
Perfect.
say it any better myself, my friend.
Perfect.
Game of the year is
Congratulations. Oh, that's the Astro. Oh, I thought he was
No,
about to rip out another one. I
that
was
was
like, what? Indiana Jones. He sneaks in there at the last second because he made
Oh, sorry,
150
Brandon.
bot accounts.
Sorry,
Really good
Brandon.
skew.
Sorry,
Yeah.
your game of the year didn't get a mention in the community. So
No, dude, it was one person did mention. I'm gonna shout that out here in a second. But yeah, just scrolling through the chat, and if anybody's wondering why I got my phone, I'm scrolling through the chat with my phone. But yeah, pretty much everybody is saying, good taste. Astrobot's a good number one. Platformers aren't really my thing, and like you, Pan, I'm a narrative guy, but Astro was just outright fun, so smooth and so polished. That's from your mistake, sir. And yeah, Scorn's Astrobot is now PlayStation's Mario, and the IP reference linear levels and memories those for those who grew up on that, that era of PlayStation, just hits right in the nostalgia veins. So absolutely shout out to the Astro. Well, guys,
mhm.
Astro is game of the year. Congratulations to the old Asobi over there. They really did it up. And now we'll go into some rapid fires
Yeah.
for some of the individual picks. And I'm gonna mainly shout out the stuff that people. I'm actually gonna go through the comments in live time right now. Um,
Are you
and I'm
wanting me
just
to
gonna
write these
shout out.
down as well?
No,
Okay.
no. Definitely not. That's yeah, I know.
I can kick back and relax finally.
Finally, yeah. Get a break.
So we'll stay right there with Indiana Jones. Bash Video Editor came in and said Indiana Jones is his game of the year, their game of the year. It got all that old soul in the best possible way. College Football 25. This is from Giovanni said College Football 25 has to be my game of the year. I've dumped nearly 100 hours and plan on dumping another 100 before the next one. I'm
Wow.
right there with you, my friend.
Nice.
Let's see. Pokemon TCG Pocket. Baseball Star says, I know a microtransaction mobile game is game of the year. There are many reasons I love this game. One, even though it has microtransactions, the game is very generous for free to play players. You have many avenues to get the cards you want. Collecting and battling is a very fun gameplay loop. The battles are simple, but with the amount of freedom you get with deck building, you can have multiple strategies. It never gets boring. Most importantly, the reason why this game is my game of the year is because I got to play the game with so many people in real life.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, and he says, I got to play with so many people in real life that never play games because they got hooked too. My sister, my brother, brother-in-law, an old friend I haven't talked to in a while. These are all the people I bonded with over the game, and making connections with people through gaming is honestly my favorite thing to do in my life, and
Wow.
it's something I never get to do. So thanks to Pokemon TCG Pocket. That's really freaking cool, man.
That is awesome. Just the diversity again, the diversity of taste. That's what's great because a lot of these game of the year things in general, it's like just across the spectrum of YouTube and gaming, often can be pretty homogenous in the sense that outlets either just want to choose the same games or they just happen to like the same games. But getting to hear about the smaller off the cuff titles, whether it's an indie game or a mobile or double A, that's what makes it so fun because like it's so easy to get pigeonholed into like, oh, I have to also like what everyone else likes. If your favorite game is like so out of left field, that's okay. That's awesome. Share that around because you never know. Like baseball fan, was a baseball fan or baseball star? Baseball star said,
Baseball Stars, yep.
yeah, baseball star said like that can get someone else into gaming, or it could just be an experience that you get to bond with others, and that's what makes it really, really cool. Like about gaming in general, there's so many tastes for everyone out there.
And then memories
Absolutely.
are going to be with him forever. Because I think we've all had them moments of, even if it's a bad game, or it could even end up being a bad experience overall, when you're playing it with friends and you can salvage that moment, somehow that could end up being a memory fragment that you keep hold of and cherish a lot more than something that, say, the end of a story of a particular game that you may just end up forgetting naturally over time because it's like it doesn't have that spark and connection with you. So
100%.
Absolutely, man.
That is something, and I think there's a big thing too about like not wanting to, like he alluded to, the microtransactions, this, that, and the other. You don't want to award or reward games that have bad business practices, but at the same time, sometimes you just get hooked into a game that has some predatory business practices. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? How I've spent hundreds of hours in NBA 2Ks over the years, and like it's the most egregious microtransactioning ever. Um, all right, and then we
Yep.
have Lydia Angel 64 says Mario and Luigi Brothership. It's just so great. I'm glad Nintendo got back with the Mario and Luigi series, and I always enjoy the humor and seeing the little Mario and Luigi dynamic.
Nice. That's awesome. That's good to hear that, honestly, because a lot of I know Brandon, you don't do Nintendo stuff, but the game that game has been so divisive amongst Mario and Luigi fans. So to hear people are really shouting it out is good to hear that because a lot of people are on the fence about that game still. I don't know if you play. I don't. Do you play Switch games, Loon, or Nintendo games? I didn't know if that's not your thing.
So I picked up a Switch. It probably would have been like 8 months after it launched because I heard people
Okay.
banging on about Breath of the Wild and stuff, and it didn't do anything for me. I'll be honest.
Gotcha.
I'll throw a minor bit of shade their way. I think it gets a little bit too much praise for some of the wrong reasons. It felt like a Ubisoft game to me in many aspects. Its towers and exploration and open world aspects and stuff, and it seemed
Breath of the
to
Wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it seemed to be very and I don't know if that's because obviously I don't think any Far Cry games have made their way over to the Switch, have they, or any Nintendo platforms. So that if they are
I don't
only
think so.
enclosed in that ecosystem, getting exposed to these types of things for basically the first time, it would probably blow your socks off. But to me,
Yeah.
it was an
Yeah.
eye-rolling mechanic of like, oh god, towers, and it does the biggest crime for me. Item durability can just
Mm.
burn in the deepest
Yeah.
hole in hell imaginable. So when I saw that, I was like, "No, I'm good,
1000%.
man. I'm good." Like, it's a beautiful looking game, and I respect it for what it is, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. They're saying
Nothing wrong with that.
they're saying the hardware might get revealed for the Switch too tomorrow.
Yeah. 16th, 17th is kind of the rumored time frame for that. So, wow, does that mean we got to make something about it? Make some content about it? Oh.
I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, if
Wait, what? We made a whole video about that you were interested in this. What are you talking about? We literally made a video on the channel that you said you were interested in the Switch too.
Yeah, I mean,
And then he saw the
We-
numbers of performance.
yeah, we tested the water, and the community was like, yeah, take
We
that
don't care.
Nintendo shit elsewhere. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me sad, but all right.
But I mean, nah, dude. I mean, for real. Like,
No.
if we, I'm gonna probably pick up a Switch 2 if they reveal the thing and it's like, hey, you know, we are moderately competent in terms of X, Y, and Z. We can run a few third-party games, and if they have a strong exclusive launch lineup, I'm gonna pick the thing up. So we'll definitely be talking more about it.
Okay.
All right. Fitz3354 says Game of the Year 2024 for myself is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I got into the Yakuza franchise at the end of 2023, and when I reached Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I just loved the game so much. Timix says Dragon Age the Veilguard. I'm not great with words, but to quote Gil Durthalian's review, I'm
Gildatharlan.
sorry. Gil Durthal, I'm sorry. Uh, I know Veilguard isn't perfect, but it's perfect for me.
Mm.
The game just hit where I needed it to hit. Yeah,
Nice.
very-
That's awesome.
yeah, man. I mean, that is pretty much it for the people. Oh, and can't. Gotta shout out Panda Grog because this was actually a game that when they shouted this out, I ended up going and looking into it, and I was like, damn, this is why I gotta buy a Steam Deck for games like this. Panda Grog says, my vote would be for Minds Beneath Us, a cyberpunk narrative game. It just ticks off every box that I like in games, whether it be politics, philosophy, history, or romance. Not only do they handle these topics very well, but they know how to make them work in a cyberpunk narrative, which is to make them very relatable to us. That is what I love about this game. Every single thing has an explanation and a justification to it. It's not just done for shock value or for looking cool. It has a narrative function to the world. These things also tell us a lot about us and our own psychology and philosophy in society today. It really reminded me of why I fell in love with Pentiment and Disco Elysium, which I thought no other game could bring me the same satisfaction. I was so wrong. And I'm glad to have experienced this work of art. I know that it has no chance of winning, but I want to spread the word about this game because it's gone unnoticed in the year.
Wow.
So shout out to Panda in the building with a great recommendation that I ended up going and looking up after they recommended it. And I was like, dude, this looks so right up my alley. And I'm looking around like, where can I buy this thing? Of course, only
Yeah.
on PC for the time being.
Did you shout
Brandon, what was
the name of
what
it
was
out
the
one
name?
last time? Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry,
you,
go ahead.
you're asking for the same thing, the name of it, right?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because I wanted
Mine's
to.
beneath us.
Mine's beneath us.
Mine's beneath us. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, people were asked. Someone, your mistakes are asked what the game is, so that's cool. See, again, proves that point. People's experiences are so different. Like now, you got to learn about a game. Now other people get to learn about a game. Oh, mistake. You asked if the newer Zelda games are open world. They are. Yeah. So Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are all just they're open world. Kind of like again, like Loon said, Ubisoft style games. Obviously, with their Nintendo spins, of course, that's a little bit like reductive for me to say that. But yes, they are open world.
Absolutely. Well, my friends, how are y'all feeling? I mean, I know that we kind of started a little bit late, um, but those are the community's games of the year. And I was gonna get into our top 10, but it is three. If y'all have anywhere to be in the next 45 minutes or so, we can go ahead and wrap this one up. Or if y'all want to get into our top 10 games of 2024, we can do that.
Why don't we see what the live chat has to say? They're the ones here watching.
Yep. And while they do that, I'm gonna quickly shoot off and.
Yeah, do a thing.
No, well, I was asking y'all if y'all have anywhere to be, if we needed
No,
to.
no, I'm done. Like we're
Yeah.
fun for whatever you want to do for tonight.
Yeah, I'm
You
here
good,
for this
Jeffrey?
too. I'm here for
Cool,
this. So
This
let's
is
see
a
if the live.
24-hour live stream.
Oh
the
gosh,
first
it's
one,
like
baby.
24-hour Le Mans, the 24-hour Le Mans racing or whatever it is. Yeah. I don't know. It's the live chat. Let's ask the live chat who's here. Do they want to stick around? If anyone's here, wants to stick around for a little bit more fun as well.
Yeah, man. If y'all want to stick around to see us battle it out for our top 10 games of 2024, let us know. And like I said, we're just having fun with a little test stream here.
Yeah.
And then we'll be doing our Xbox Developer Direct reactions on January 23rd.
I do want to ask a question to kind of to let me know, Brandon, what you think of this. A question to the live chat, who anyone that's here right now, but also to just anyone watching after the fact and can leave a comment. Thank you for everyone that watches after the fact. We appreciate that. But what do you come to Unnecessary Rambling for? Is it
Yeah,
for would that be an interesting question? Like, is it for a specific type of content? I only asked that because we just talked about Nintendo. We did that video about Nintendo. People weren't interested, and that's completely fine because people go elsewhere for it. Nothing wrong with that at all. Everyone goes to a channel for something. So it just made me think, like, what do people come here for? Like, is it a certain type of video? I come for you, Brandon. Like, that's why, because I like your take on things. So I just wonder why people. I don't know. Is that a weird question? I just think it's fascinating for research purposes.
Yeah, I wonder that every damn day of my life. Like, what do people want from this shit show here? And I think that you just have to experiment. You know what I mean? I think that we'll make a video that bombs, and it's like, cool, lesson learned. It doesn't mean that you don't dabble around that area again, but it's like, okay, well, probably not making that exact video again, which we couldn't make a Switch 2 predictions video again because, like, hey, the thing's about to actually drop.
Yeah.
Not much left to predict. But it's like, that doesn't mean that maybe a Switch 2 hidden gems at the end of the year. Like, that's
Yeah.
fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you just got to experiment. And of course, I'm always a person who believes that, like, you got to do both. You got to do what you want to do, and you got to do what the people want you to do. And that's why we do so many damn rankings. People love the damn rankings.
They do.
But that's also why we're gonna predict some Switch shit. That's also why we're gonna do a 5-hour game awards thing. Which we're not doing 5 hours again because that's almost fucking killed us. But yeah.
Why don't you read a few of those, Brandon?
I think.
Oh, sorry.
for
Go
the-
ahead.
For the Game Awards of this year, for our stuff, it would suit a live stream format, as it would
Oh yeah.
um
Oh yeah.
justify the length as well of that time.
Yeah.
Because people can hop in and out and there'll be engagement back and forth constantly. I don't expect many people to sit through obviously the whole thing, but being able to just dip in and dip out and then have that also generate, because you can
Yeah.
watch streams post, like you said, after.
Oh yeah, and I'll
And then we'll
timestamp
wrap
the
up.
shit out that bad boy.
Yeah.
Um,
Randy, why don't you read off a few of those? People gave some good ones about why they're here. I think a lot of it pertains, again, as I said, to you. It's you. This is the channel that you built from the ground up. You worked your tail off, Brand. I think people need to give credit because, like, you worked your tail off. I know you don't like getting praise, but I'm going to do it anyway. You worked so hard to get this from the ground up, making video after video, trying new things, finding what sticks, finding different types of content, short and long. Like, you've worked so hard to get where this is at and built up a community of people that you'll see in these few comments, right? Why they're here. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's worth mentioning because you've put so much into where this is.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do. Let's see here. Panagrog says I come for the rambling, I guess. It's fun having discussions on this channel. And yeah, and that's always kind of been one of the pillars of what I want this to be is like, Panda, I mean, dude, what a absolute legit capital G gamer. Constantly I'm hearing about games I've never heard of. Minds Beneath Us, and like really people who love video games, I think, are coming to this channel and finding this channel. And that's the shit that we're trying to build. People who actually want to engage with the hobby and have interesting discussions and have unique points of view. That's the shit I'm looking for out of the audience. It's like, it's kind of the thing where I have expectations for my audience as well, and they should have expectations for us. I genuinely believe that, where it's like, I don't want to build a community of people who, have basic ass, boring ass takes on video games. And I don't think we should do that either. You know what I mean? Like, you want to build up people who actually love this hobby. And we're really, really doing that. And yeah, man. So I think that, well, before we end up rambling all day, let me go ahead and read through the rest of these comments.
Yeah, there's some nice ones there.
Um, Let's see. Your mistake, sir, says since day one, Brandon's content is just a regular guy talking about games. Great content. And we all, that's the thing that always, when people get to a point where it's like definitive, people are like making definitive statements, like their statement is the end all be all. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? We're all just regular dudes with opinions, or regular people with opinions. There's no objectivity in any of this stuff. And so, yeah, just the idea of regular people talking about games, that's always what I wanted this stuff to be. I never wanted it to sound like, even if we give scores or rank things or whatever, it's like, it's coming from these three idiots, these three knuckleheads who are just talking about video games.
Yeah, it's our perspective of it, and everybody has an equal voice on the channel, and that's what we've built from day one, is making sure that everybody has that equal voice.
And everyone in the community is like, again, you like what you like. I think we live this culture of gaming can be so toxic in the sense where it's like, again, if you like Pokemon, the card game Pocket, it's like, great. If you like something that no one else likes, okay, great. Like, just own what you like. Don't let other people put you down or bully you for it. Like, just enjoy what you like, talk about it respectfully. And that's, your community's done that from your past channel, Easygoing Gaming. It does that here. And like, that shows to those points. And like what Loon was saying, it's just, that's great. It's respect.
Yeah.
It's just to show respect. And we all have our own opinions. That's okay.
And it's so nice, man. It's so nice to have that like baked in, where it's, you drop in the comments, and sure, you're gonna have some flyby knuckleheads, but like, you drop in the comments and you got like interesting discussion about games going on in there. It's like, yes, that's absolutely what I want. Scorn says I came for him because of his gaming taste, music, and being a wrestling fan is very much in common as same with him. And as an OG supporter, I love his no bullshit gaming war crap and staying true to this. Yeah. Yeah, console gaming war crap. Yeah. That's not even interesting content to me. Sure, we'll make a video where we dog Xbox or we dog PlayStation, but like, you gotta, if you're looking through someone's feed and it's nonstop dogging PlayStation, nonstop dogging Nintendo, not dogging Xbox or vice versa, it's like, what's going on here? But all these companies deserve the smoke. We should be ridiculing all these damn billion-dollar companies.
Agreed.
Yeah, let's see.
I think there's a couple more. Yeah, I think it's good to hear because again, you're someone that doesn't like to take all the praise in, which is fair, but you've put a lot of hard work into it, and so I'm making sure you hear the praise for yourself.
Yeah, because
I
you do kind
appreciate
of
it.
you don't accept it as much as you should. You kind of I don't think you understand how much you've built, really. Like it's good to take a step back and like look at it and be like, yeah, this is huge. Because you got to think you built up that previous channel. Some people couldn't even reach them numbers. That was already a huge undertaking to do, and then you did this, and you built it up from the ground up, and it's obviously gotten better and better and better. And the reason that it succeeded both times is not luck. You've replicated it twice. You clearly have something like the personality and the thoughts behind the camera, putting out all these different ideas. Not all stick, of course. We get a few concords ourselves,
Oh yeah.
but most of it is just as long as we enjoy doing it, even if it does lower numbers and stuff. It's just continuing on, and that's I think why people have stuck around. They just love being a part of the community more than anything as well.
Yeah. And that means a lot, man.
Yeah.
And thank you for saying that. And but for one, I'm not good with this stuff. I'll just be totally honest. Like I'm not like the most uh, emotional kind of guy, but I do want to say that y'all, I think the same could be true for y'all, where you might not give yourself enough credit either. Like y'all have worked really hard with me on this thing and built it up over the months and over the years. And so yeah, y'all definitely 1000% deserve credit for building this thing up as well. I never wanted it to be a one man thing. I hate doing solo content. Like I think all of my audience who watches regularly knows I hate doing that shit. Like I don't enjoy it at all. That's purely for growth. Um, and sure there will be a video every now and then where you just get the passion, you get the bug, and you want to make it. But when I'm with y'all, when I'm recording with y'all, I'm actually having a good time. Um, and Loon dropped his Discord link in the chat, so if anybody
Mhm.
wants to jump in there,
Nice.
Panda just jumped in.
Nice job, Panda.
Um, yeah. And also I want to hit on this as well. Panda says the Dragon Age videos was really the only time I felt weird, but 100% of the time it's interesting and productive conversations.
Hmm.
I do agree with this. Like, and I haven't talked about this. That was the weirdest spot of the channel. Of not even of the channel, of maybe any discourse I've ever seen on the internet in general around video games. Like, go ahead, Jeffrey.
No, but before you keep going with it, can you give, because I didn't watch it. So can you give a background on why that was? Because like seeing that comment, hearing what you're saying, not having seen that video, doesn't I'm not processing what that is. So for anyone that's not sure, what was the weirdness? What was what you're saying to kind of branch what out what you mean with that?
Well, see, so that was when I was doing daily videos. Like I was trying to upload every single day. And so I was taking the news story of the day and plopping that bitch online as quickly as possible. And the news story of that day was that Dragon Age had hit like, you know, 70,000 concurrent players. It broke all of EA's records for peak single player concurrent count on Steam. And so I said something like Dragon Age was a huge hit. And like, but then in the video, we kind of do break down like, yeah, it might not be this huge hit in terms of the amount of time that was put into it, the amount of money that was put into it. But in terms of this specific metric, yeah, it's a huge hit for it. Undoubtedly, any game that hits 90,000 players at one time on Steam is a huge hit. If the thing didn't cost 400 $500 million to make or whatever. And so it was just, and the comments just got crazy. Like it was, I mean, I showed Loon, like people like saying, you know, go find the nearest razor blade and kill yourself and this, that. And I was like, whoa, and that's the thing. Your channel is going to grow, and you're going to be subjected to that stuff more as it gets bigger, and more flyby viewers are tuning in, and people who just harbor a lot of hatred. But like anybody who knows me knows I don't give a shit about Dragon Age doing well or not. Like it was literally the video of the day. It was the big news story of the day. I don't give a shit about Dragon Age whatsoever. The only thing I care about is that it does well so that we can get Mass Effect 4. Like Dragon Age is whatever to me.
Wow. Wow. Okay. No, that's yeah. Wow. It's a lot.
It was also cherry picking though, because I don't think the words you used specifically was "it's done well." You said it did well for obviously it being the first one on Steam. 70,000 players. It broke the records of every other EA thing, and people were like,
Right.
blah blah blah, blowing that out of proportion when that was fact. It doesn't matter like if they've only released 2 games, that's the biggest success that they've had. That's fact. Like
Right.
um,
Well, and
they were
it
just
was also
attacking
the
it from every single angle, and it was just like, guys, it's getting a bit pathetic now.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was silly because it was like I said in the video, it's like, yeah, it's not a Black Myth Wukong, it's not a Monster Hunter, it's not like it's not that level of hit. I'm not trying to say that whatsoever, but it was just that that level of vitriol was kind of insane with that game. I don't know why that
Wow.
game brought out so much hatred in people in general. It was just you have those little moments where it's the internet just gets mad about something, they pick something to dislike, and is what it is. Like I don't even love Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I wasn't crazy about the game either. So I
Well, at
don't.
the end of the day, the people that are showing the love and the positivity and trying to actually uplift others and build others up and show respect is always going to far outweigh those one-off cases. And that's the best part of again about the community here and place like that. That stuff's always going to outshine the other, even when you get those one-offs, which is again testament to all of you watching and listening. So
1000%, guys. Well, how about we go ahead and we do a quick top 10 for our games of the year of 2024. That sound good with y'all?
let's do it.
Go. Time stamping it real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and head on back over to the old spreadsheet. And so, how I'm thinking about doing this is I just kind of want to go through all of our rankings, and we're just going to quickly kind of place some games on a top 10 for us three. Like, what would our collective top 10 games of the year be if all three of us had input on it? Because we got Jeffrey's games of the year, his ranking. We got Loon's games of the year, his ranking. We got my games of the year, my ranking. What are our games of the year? It's kind of how I'm thinking about this one. So
It's a good idea.
I
Are-
am. Go ahead.
Are we going to go based off of everyone's S tiers, or are we just going based off of everything in each other's lists?
Yeah, everything. Just as
Everything,
like
okay.
yeah, just kind of. I'm
Cool.
gonna look over our lists and see where the most crossover occurs.
How many did you say to list, sir?
We'll do 10. Do a top 10.
Should we give a quick, like, I don't know if this is going to matter or not, but just for the people watching and listening, give like a quick of what each of ours S tier one was, or technically game of the year? Because I know you had one, I had three, but like one, but then three top, and Loon had yours. So I just wonder, like, would that be important to shout that out first before we do ours, or does that not matter if people watch that already?
Absolutely. No, yeah, that makes some sense to quickly.
I'm gonna have to build a list off of on the fly because I wasn't aware that we were doing this.
No. I got yours right here. You don't have to do
okay,
anything.
good. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah.
I was like,
Neither of y'all have to.
You're throwing me in the deep end. Oh god.
No. Neither of y'all had to do anything. I got all this. Well, Loon, you got to jot them down, but other than that, I got everything else. All right, so Loon, your list looked a little something like this.
Ooh.
Metaphor was your game of the year.
All right. give me
Infinite Wealth
one
was your.
moment. Or are you just gonna list these out? I don't need to jot these
You don't
down
have to. Yep. Nope. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to jot a single thing down. We're just kind of discussing right now. We're in the discussing phase before we get into the listing phase.
Brainstorm phase.
So you had Metaphor as your game of the year, Infinite Wealth as number 2, Alan Wake 2 as number 3, Persona 3 as number 4, Unicorn as number 5, Space Marine 2 as number 6, Dragon Age: The Veilguard as number 7, Dragon's Dogma 2 at number 8, Star Wars Outlaws at number 9, and Indiana Jones at number 10. So
Sounds
those
about right.
are your top 10. And then I'm going to go to Jeffrey's top
Brandon.
10.
Real quick before, so we don't miss this guy who jumped in. Lords O the King says, hate to jump in and jump out. Here, I'm working, but much respect to you guys. Love this channel. 2025 will be a great year for unnecessary rambling, then gives like a strong arm. So if he has to jump in and jump out, just want to make sure we acknowledge. So yeah, thank you for being here and checking this out for a minute. Hope your work day goes pretty well. We'll love having you.
Absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt you,
Absolutely.
Brandon. Just didn't want to
No,
miss
you're
him.
good. Appreciate you, Lord O's the King, and
Yeah.
excellent channel over there. That I love tuning into a nice chill pickups video.
Nice.
All right, Jeffrey, your games of the year, sire. Number one is Astrobot. Number two is Disney's Epic Mickey Rebrushed. Number three is Silent Hill 2. Number four is Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. Number five is Cat Quest 3. Number six is Princess Peach Showtime. Number seven is Prince of Persia The Lost Crown. Number eight is Animal Well. Number nine is Luigi's Mansion. Number 10 is Alone in the Dock. So that is yours. I'm screenshotting all of these. That way, whenever we get into the discussions, I can
Cool.
bring them back up if y'all have any questions.
Awesome.
All right.
And now
then
Brandon's.
for me, we have my number one game of the year, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Number two, Dragon's Dogma 2. Number three, Dungeons of Hinterberg. Number four, WWE 2K24. Number five, Star Wars Outlaws. Number six, Astrobot. Number seven, College Football 25. Number eight, Squirrel with a Gun. Number nine, Outcast: A New Beginning. And number 10, Little Guardsman. So, just a frame of reference to set everything up here. Those are our top 10 games individually. But I think as we go through this, it doesn't necessarily have to be stuff that's on our top 10, depending on how the conversation shakes up. So I think an absolute lock for this list. And I should say Silent Hill. So the reason I didn't include Silent Hill 2 in my list, I just found out it was the image that I used on TierMaker wouldn't upload. So it was, yeah. That's
So you did have it. So that was the whole part of that video, is that you were like, oh no, I didn't remember, but you did remember is what you're saying.
I did remember.
Okay.
So yeah, because I tried to use it again, and it wouldn't upload that time either. So it was the image on TierMaker. But Silent Hill 2 would be my number 4 game of the year. So just to throw that in there.
Can I just say how cool it is that everyone's each of ours top list is all wildly different to an extent? How cool is that? Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Loon's list, your list, my list, there's maybe a tiny bit of crossover, at least in genre stuff, but everyone's list is pretty varied. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep. Totally agree. Just to jump into some locks, no order. We don't have to order none of this right now. If you just want to jot these in, Loon, like as separate from the top 10, like just a little bubble beneath it or something, just like with the, just listed somewhere on the screen. Astrobot is a lock. Yeah, no worries.
So you want me to
Astrobot
jot
is a
down
lock.
Astro, yeah?
Yeah, but no order, no number. Silent Hill 2, I think, is a lock. I think Metaphor is a lock. And I think we can get into that, why it wasn't on my list, but it probably should be. Indiana Jones, would you say, is probably a lock?
I mean, I'll kick it to both of you. It wasn't for me.
Right. I was just saying, since I think it's your number 10, it's my number 1. I feel like the crossover should give it some sort of.
I'll be honest, it's my list. It was things that I finished, I believe. Most of my list, I had to include stuff that I finished. If I opened that up a little bit, like more lenient, it wouldn't have been in that top 10 for the stuff I played this year, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have your phone on you?
I do.
Pull up your list, and I'm going to have Jeffrey pull up his list as well. Whenever he pops back on, because I
didn't
think
even realize you, because I've had the note up. How long's he been gone?
Just a second. I think he just had to go take a piss. I think it'd be fun to kind of look through our lists to see if there's anything that maybe there's some good crossover for things that might not be on our top 10 per se, but should still be, or not in our top 10 individual, but you know, still should maybe qualify for our top 10 collective.
Okay. I think I got my list. So you're
Perfect.
talking about these are the ones that were in our tier maker, right?
Right, right. Yep, yep. Jeffrey, you got your
Yes,
phone on you?
I do.
Is that where you were looking at the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm gonna pull up your list as well.
You were spying on us.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. And while I am looking at the chat real quick, Tix Mix, sorry, I missed your comment before Tix Mix. I don't know if you already read this, Brandon, but Tix Mix, welcome. But he asked, can we vote on who has the best list out of those top, or who has the best list out of those top 10 that we just did? I think that he's asking if they can just like say which of us had the top 10, I guess, based on what they think. So what do you
Oh
think,
yeah,
Brandon?
sound off, man. I'm
Yeah.
always open.
Yeah, go for it in the live chat if you guys want to. I think, yeah, you can see it up there. Or no, we don't. But, well, whatever. Yeah, if you want to put it in there, go for it. Yeah. But we're just going to do like a community compiled or our three combined into one. What would ours collectively be and kind of just jumping off each other. So, but yeah, sound off. Absolutely. We always appreciate that.
So what I'm doing here, G-Man, is I'm pulling
Don't
up
ever
your.
call me G. How dare you? I don't know you.
I'm gonna pull up your ranking here,
Okay.
and I'm gonna kind of look over these rankings because I selected a few games like Astro. I think is a lock. Metaphor I think is a lock.
Yeah.
I think Silent Hill 2 is a lock. So we have a few of our locks separated into a different category that we're gonna definitely jot in the 10. But
Okay.
I think there might be some crossover outside of our official top 10 as well. So like Banishers, for instance, is a weird one. Where I think Banisher should probably be somewhere on this list since all three of us really enjoyed it.
Oh, so you're saying we should just so go outside of our 10 and like if all three of us have the same game somewhere, at least in the higher tiers. That's a good idea. I like that.
Right.
That's interesting. So where's the common ground, I guess? Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and jot Banishers down as well, Loon. I think that's one that is yeah, I think that one's gonna be on there.
Makes sense.
Alone in the Dark, maybe? Did you play Alone in the Dark, Loon?
No, that was one that I missed out on.
Because you and I both really enjoyed that, Jeffrey.
We were such outliers. I swear, anyone that I watch or hear talk about that really didn't care for. I feel like we're such the outliers in that game, which is great. Again,
Right.
that's great. But
Well, and kind of staying right there, Loon, what about Space Marine 2? I think you and I both really loved Space Marine 2.
I mean, before the like when it came out, it was front gunning for my game of the year.
Right,
Recency bias, I'll say.
that's okay though. Nothing wrong with recency bias in the sense of you're passionate about it. So
Looking back on it now, I don't think it wouldn't sweep like a #1 spot, but it's amazing. Like credit to Saber, like what they accomplished with a sequel to a game that not many people really played the first one or cared about,
Right.
and then not only bringing us a sequel but knocking it out of the ballpark was incredible.
The two dragons, Dragon's Dogma 2 and Dragon Age, I think those should probably be somewhere in there. You and I both enjoyed those, Loon. Wouldn't you say?
Dragon Age for sure. Dragon's Dogma, I think it began to wane in the end for me.
Yeah.
Because when I finally finished all my like spelunking and dipping in and out of all these caves, I was like, all right, let's sink my teeth into a nice story. And then we get to the story parts, and it's like, wow, I had like better things I was coming up with in my own head in these caves than what you're writing for this story. This is woeful.
Right. Yeah, the writing is abysmal, but I mean, it does have a kind of cool ending a little bit. You know,
don't spoil
the-
anything. I haven't played it yet. Please don't
I
spoil
haven't-
anything because
I
I do
haven't
want to play
finished
it.
it
I
either.
do want to play it at some point.
I haven't finished
Okay.
it yet.
Please don't spoil
Um,
anything. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. So, what? How many games do we have on there, Loon? I guess I could actually pull that up while I'm sitting here doing
So
nothing.
there's
While you're
9
pulling that
we've
up-
jotted down.
Sorry, Lou.
9 we got. What were you gonna say, Jeffrey?
just get, before we go, your mistake, who's been here since the beginning, says company showed up at the house. Sorry, I have to drop out. Love the live show. Looking forward to future ones. So just didn't, I want to make sure I didn't miss out on you. I knew you were here since the beginning. So thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Awesome.
And have fun with the company at the house. Hope it goes well and there's no shenanigans. Sorry, Loon, to cut you off. Didn't mean to do that.
No, we got 9 games that I think are pretty representative of us as a collective unit here. I'm looking at that last game is actually kind of tough because it's a bummer that none of us really have any sort of crossover for one more.
Did you like Kunitsu, Jeffrey?
I respect a lot that Capcom tried that, but like it was not for me. But that was just, it's not for me, that genre, that type of game. But I fully respect, but that could be said for a lot of games, I guess, right? If it's just not up our alley. What about, Brandon, this may come as a shock for me to say this, but I've heard so much about College Football 25. I should say I'm not a sports person. I don't play sports games, but like everything I've heard about how they brought back this game and how it knocked it out of the park, to me, that would, I mean, I haven't played it. I don't know if you've played it, Loon, so like, I guess that wouldn't really be good to say to put it on our community one or our shared one, but I would say that like people really do seem to like that, but maybe we have to have a little more crossover, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like outside the box here.
Yeah, if we were gonna go to that, I would rather, if it was like one from my list, I'd rather take Dungeons of Hinterberg. But once again, like I that doesn't have a lot of crossover with us. Did either of y'all play Indica?
Mm-mm.
Balatro?
I played it. It wasn't for me. As much as I can respect it, it's just not my type of game. So
Okay.
what else? So wait. So what are we have our 9. I don't know. I'm asking. So we have the 9 that you're saying are like the crossover, right? I just want to look at these again. So it's Astrobot, Silent Hill 2, Metaphor, Indiana Jones, Banishers, Alone in the Dark, Space Marine 2, Dragon's Dogma 2, and Dragon Age Veilguard, correct?
Yeah.
And then we need one more, is what you're saying, right?
One more.
What if we have? No, never mind. I was gonna say, what if we have you guys in the chat? But I was like, that's not really gonna, I guess, help if it's the ones if we're trying to go with from our list. But I don't know. Keep shouting out some games that you got. Maybe we can find one because you have the stuff in front of you. I can't see what we're talking about. So
the only ones from my list that's not made it onto that was Outlaws and the Thaumaturge.
I love Outlaws.
I mean, if we have to fill it, like, it wasn't a terrible game. Like I said, it ranked like a 7 out of 10 for me.
You know what I would rather do? I would rather put Infinite Wealth on there because that's your number 2. And Infinite Wealth, like, it's one that I know is top tier quality. So I think that's a little bit better of a representation of this list for like games that people really, really enjoyed. I loved Outlaws, but it didn't even crack my 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it was in my top 5, but
yeah.
But it was also, here's the thing that's tough to factor in is sometimes it's just a weak year for individual people. Where 2024 was a kind of weak year for me, whereas 2024 Loon was eating pretty damn good. And for a game to be number 2 in a strong year for Loon and the games that he enjoys, I think that weighs a lot more than for me and my number 5 when it was a year I didn't really even dig all that much, or for my number 2, you know?
Yeah, that's a fair case. I mean, I think having that representation of even though we're trying to do some crossover, but having each of our top 1 or 2, or at least top 3 represent at some point, if that's that important of a game to Loon, then that makes a lot more sense for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Cool.
I never played it, but I trust what you're saying, Loon, about it and what people have said. So
of the series at all?
it's just, that's just not it's just not my jam, my cup of tea from everything I've seen. So, I can't say anything about him, but all I hear is praise. So, it totally makes sense. We should have it in there. Absolutely.
Because how I was thinking about it, it would kind of come down to Epic Mickey or Infinite Wealth. For those are the number 2s, and just in terms of like, yeah, Epic Mickey reviewed well as well, but in terms of like if we were gonna push one over the line, I'd probably say Infinite Wealth makes a little bit more sense.
How many on that list were resonated with you then, Jeffrey? If we remove Infinite Wealth, how many of them are on that list that you're like, yeah, man, they have to be there?
Well, I do want to say, I support the Infinite Wealth thing because Disney Mickey or Epic Mickey Rebush, although it was my number two, that's still, it's a great game, but it's still a remake. We already have Silent Hills, a 2 remake. We have Astrobot, which is still a platformer. So I feel like having a diversity of taste and Infinite Wealth would slot in there nicely. Like Metaphor, I only played for a few minutes. It just wasn't the right timing for me, so I can't speak on it, but I can recommend. Indie was just not my game, but like the only games I just really wouldn't, go with was Dragon's Dogma 2, just because, again, I haven't played it, though. Like, I just haven't played some of these, so I guess there's no point of me saying anything, I guess is the point. I just haven't played some of them, so I don't know anything about them.
But you have played Astro, Silent Hill 2, Banishers, Alone in the Dark. So like I think there's a good degree of crossover.
Yeah.
As long as when you toss it over to each person, as long as they've got at least 50% of the list that they've played, I think that's where that's a good basis. Would be good.
Agreed.
Totally.
Agreed.
So,
I think we're at that point, right? That seems like we're at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm looking at the screen, Loon. You have our number 10s for each of us, our top 10 for each of us. We're just going to do one.
Could have saved me time.
My bad, man. Yeah, I did. I just looked back at the stream. So we're just going to do one top 10 for all
Don't
of us.
delete everything.
And Loon, Tixmix says Infinite Wealth Supremacy with a big heart. So there you go. And Tixmix also says, I remember really wanting to play Epic Mickey, but somehow I completely forgot it released. I feel like that was true and indicative of a lot of games this year. There were some big ones, but then I feel like a lot of people just missed certain games that like you'd think you would have remembered. So yeah, it's just, I think that happens certain years, which is nothing wrong with that. Because when you hear about it later, then you go back and play it. It's almost more enjoyable. So
And it's cheaper.
it's cheaper, yeah.
This is a combined list then, yeah?
Totally. A top 10 for all of us combined. Yep.
I'm happy with those 10 games. That was I think it's a great representation of everyone's taste. It's a great representation of genres. So it's not all, again, homogenous. So yeah, that seems good. And then are we going to mix it up from here though, right? Like into the actual
Just
slots.
go straight there. Perfect.
Infinite Wealth number 10. Sorry, no.
I mean, that's a good kicking off point. I do think we probably are looking at Infinite Wealth as number 10 as the sole passion project. Like that's the one game that one person has, and it's like, yeah, I think that makes sense. It's probably not there's games on this list that are much worse than Infinite Wealth, but in terms of the collective passion,
how that's landing below this is beyond.
Well, that's landing. Oh gosh, that got real dramatic.
Hey, I mean, I'm willing to hear the case. So you're saying how Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is landing below below Alone in the Dark is kind of crazy.
Their studio shut down. RGG is still going strong, boy.
Hey, don't put it there just yet, because this is the whole point of the top 10. We got to have that conversation.
That's not indicative of that the 2 year, but that's not fair to the studio because that's not their choice to be shut down. Like they also shut down Tango, and Hi-Fi Rush was a beloved game. So I know it came back now under Crafton, but like still, that's not really a point for. Unless you're just taking a funny jab, then fair.
But Jeffrey,
it was 50-50.
I think we do also have to have the conversation, Jeffrey. It's not that high on either of our lists.
I would, to Loon's side, I would, again, having never played Infinite Wealth, I would just say objectively it should go above Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Just because there's a very clear love for the Yakuza games, Like a Dragon games, and I've heard nothing but good about Infinite Wealth. Even though I haven't played it, I can easily look past my bias for Alone in the Dark. That should definitely come above that. I would say Alone in the Dark should actually be 10. Personally.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes total sense. Alone in the Dark being number 10 makes total sense to me.
Because we're the outliers there for sure.
Well, and it's not even that we're the outliers. As much as we like it, we don't love it. Like I like the game a good deal, but it didn't rank on either of our like top 5 or anywhere near that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
Okay.
So at number 10 will be Alone in the Dark then? Is that what we're all going with?
Yeah, and I mean number 9 doesn't have to be locked in for Infinite Wealth. It doesn't have to be locked into that at all.
We can move it around. It's where it originally landed, and that's where it can go next. It's climbing its way up. It'll make its way to number 1. Don't you worry.
It'll make its way there one way or another. Also, because you have the power of the list, you can put it wherever you want. Apparently,
I would be fine putting putting Dragon's Dogma 2 at number 9 and bumping Infinite Wealth up.
Yep.
Because Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game I love so much for one thing, and I hate everything else about it. But I love the one thing so much that it's like, I think it's one of the greatest combat systems ever in games.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
I haven't played it. I don't want to play it, so I'm going to go with what you guys have to say. But I would objectively say, yeah, Infinite Wealth should come above that from what I know of the two games. So, but again, I don't know. So I haven't played either, so it's hard to say. But
yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with leaning on your passion for Infinite Wealth above DD2.
I would say for number 7, I would say, I don't know, Brandon, where were, because it's hard. Banishers I loved a lot, but it's like, it's hard to say would it go in top 5, like maybe personally, but like I'm kind of leaning towards Banishers at number 7. What do you think? What do you guys
I don't
think?
think so, man.
No?
I mean, you have
Okay.
Banishers at your number 4, dude.
Where is it for you?
I mean, it's quite a bit lower than that, but it's still to say that like I liked the game a whole hell of a lot. And if it's a game that you enjoyed a good deal and I enjoyed a good deal, I mean, because the reason I dropped DD2 is because Loon kind of fell off of it pretty hard and started leaning a little bit more negative on it.
Okay.
Whereas Banishers is a trifecta. All three of us enjoy that.
Oh,
I mean,
right,
you
right.
say
Yeah,
that
that's-
mine landed 12th. My
but that's still pretty high though, as far as like how many games were on yours altogether. Do you remember?
at 12.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Ooh,
you
it
only had
landed-
12. Okay. So you only had 12. All right. Well,
Yeah.
never mind. That changes things, I
Um,
guess.
I did 12, and then there was an extra one, which was the one I just started, which was the Thaumaturge. So I didn't go like actually properly ranking it, but it's something that I knew would be end up being special. But
Well, Loon, what do you think should go at 7 then? What is your thoughts? Anything jumping up to mind?
yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll be completely honest. I think I would put Infinite Wealth up to 7, and
Here's where it starts.
I think Space Marine, if I'm being completely honest, when you're pitting it up against every other game on this list, I think it coming in 8th is fine, because they're either established franchises like Dragon Age Vanguard. Like, I prefer that over Space Marine. I think
Oh, you
that
like
did
Vanguard over
that
Space
did
Marine?
a lot more overall. I think Banishers would probably edge it by a point, personally. Indie, as much as
Okay.
I don't love it, I know you're red hot on it.
Yeah.
And for actual indie fans, it was amazing. Metaphor, there's no way like that's down there, and there's no way these two are down there.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm totally fine with that. So Infinite Wealth up and Space Marine 2 at number 8. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I played Space Marine. So again, harping on the PlayStation trials, they just put out a trial for Space Marine 2. I was one of those people very excited for it. I played it for an hour. Like I'm good. It was good for what it was, but after an hour, I was like, I'm good. That was all I need. It just didn't. It just felt to me. It felt like World War Z again, which again I know it's made by the same team. I think it just felt like World War Z with Warhammer, and I'm not trying to disparage the game. I did enjoy the hour, but I was like, it was like junk food. I was like, I got it. I'm good. I don't actually need any more. So that was
Right.
my only taste of it was an hour. So I was like, it was fine. It was good for a minute. It just felt
Yeah.
too repetitive to me. So
Are you a fan of like the Warhammer universe though?
I don't know anything about it. So,
So
yeah, I
that's-
can't speak on the lore
Yeah,
front. Yeah,
that's why it like had its tendrils in so many people, because we've
Sure.
eaten so badly.
that's fair.
Especially when it's a genre outside of strategy. We
That's
never really get anything that has like a lot of budget and stuff. So getting something of a product of that quality, and then going through the moments in the game and them having like, you could tell they're fans of the stuff because
Yeah.
they're sprinkling in things here and there. It's just, man, that's a pleasure. But when I'm looking at the rest of that list, it's like, as a collective, there's no way that, like you said, you jumped in and out in an hour. I know Brandon loved like a portion of the game, but he doesn't love the whole
Yeah.
package. Like, he's not in there for the lore and stuff. It didn't do enough to
Oh,
win him
no.
over. Like, it didn't be like, man, I'm gonna go look at like what other stuff they have to offer in this universe. It was just like, man, that's kind of cool. Whereas for me, it's the only thing that I'm like, yeah, man, that would probably be a lot higher, but that couldn't get sacrificed.
I couldn't give a shit less about the story, but the gameplay's so damn fun that catching those little dinos running
Catching
around.
them little nids, cracking them.
I do want to be clear. Yeah, I'm not trying to like be reductive. The game that part that I played was phenomenal. It's just I recognize it wasn't for me. So like I can fully recognize it was a well-made game. So and we need more. At the end of the day, we need more games like that. These 360
Yes.
PS3 era, not the way it feels like those. And it's like it's so polished. Like how polished it was so unbelievable to me. And I was like, with how much is on screen, which isn't a surprise because they did World War Z. But my goodness, the polish in there was phenomenal. It just again wasn't for me. So.
But when you were side by siding it against World War Z, you could see that it had like hardly any budget really. Like it was impressive the tech that they did, but the game didn't look particularly like flawless. And then you go to Space Marine 2 and it's just like, man, like that must have sold really well. Or you've got some like mad negotiators over there at Saber that have knocked on like Games Workshop's door and been like, we got the winning formula for you guys. Give us a lot of money. So yeah, it's a quality product, but not for everyone.
Shout out to Sin in the comments says, "Hi guys, so glad to catch you live. I'm really enjoying the interaction with all three of you, and I feel it gives a great diversity of games, which is cool to hear because again, we've all talked about that. We all have a different sort of taste in some things." And then Panda says wants to play Warhammer, but just waiting for it to go on a sale or Game Pass because it is a Focus Home published game, and those usually do come to Game Pass at some point, or almost all of my belief have it at some point down the line. So anyway.
Yeah, and definitely stay tuned for some more 3-person content in the future. We got a lot of good stuff on the way with 3 of us kind of ranking and then doing some tournaments and some fun stuff. All right, 6 through 1. I think that next up it makes probably the most sense to drop either Veilguard, Indie, or Banishers for number 6.
So we're keeping Infinite Wealth at 7? As,
We're just gonna title this live stream the Infinite Wealth live stream at this point.
Is that as high as good old Kasaga's gonna climb?
I think it needs to. If you're so wait, actually, Brandon, are the rest of the games ones that either 3 of us have played or 2 of us have played?
Yep, every single other game.
I don't think it can go higher than that based on that, Loon. I just don't think that would be very representative then if that's the case. I think.
Well,
no.
Well.
Okay.
I propose you. No, because Metaphor was your game of the year. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, we can't. I don't think we can overshoot. I think okay, wait. Should we do the? It almost feels like we should do the top 3, but I know that's not as fun. Only because I feel like, how are we representing? Like, is it each of our favorite games, and then how do we do that? But never mind. Don't worry about that.
Let's build to it. Even if it gets a little bit disorganized,
I'll accept it at number 7. Then. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm glad you'll accept it. Again, you can change it whenever you want, anyways.
That is true. You have all the power to do whatever you want.
Whoa, look at that. What happened to the list? Oh no, it's number 1.
I would feel good with Dragon Age. I haven't played it, but I would say Banishers or Dragon Age at that spot. But what do you guys think of that?
I would probably lean Dragon Age, Banishers being a little bit above it.
But Loon really had it on his last pick, though. Banishers.
So
did you just?
It's because
what were your thoughts on Banishers? I guess I should. Ask.
I didn't finish it, and that's the big thing as to like what I base opinion on and stuff like that. Like I enjoyed what I played of it, but I put 80 hours into Veilguard and finished it.
Oh wow!
Like I turned over every stone in that game. I saw everything there was to see. So clearly it was doing something right. Whereas Banishers, it's a good game, but it didn't keep me hooked. For me, it fell to. You could feel the DNA of like Vampire, because obviously that's what they made previously and stuff. But what it also was trying to ape was God of War 2018 and trying to shoehorn in like elements in that and the way its exploration was handled and stuff like that. And I actually ended up liking it less because of that. I would have preferred them to stick with their own formed DNA and stuff rather than what that was. That felt a little bit too safe.
That's fair.
Not that
That's fair.
this has to be the end all be all, but I have Banishers ahead of Veilguard. Jeffrey hasn't played Veilguard, so I think there's a little bit of a nudge towards Banishers over Veilguard. But
Yeah.
and Loon, I think you had Banisher or you had Veilguard at like number 6
That's
out
what
of
I
your
was
top
literally
12.
about to check. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that, like 6 or 7, I think.
Yeah, we'll throw it at 6.
So let's do Veilguard for 6, and then I can't really see Banishers going above 5. Again, I know
No.
I really adored that, even though it wasn't my top. You liked it a lot, but again, it's hard to see it going above that based on what we still have. Although again, Indiana Jones, I feel like is hard because that's that's the one I'm most torn on, honestly, because it's your game of the year. I fell off it. Loon, where was Indiana Jones for you?
I'm gonna.
You don't remember? Okay.
No,
Actually, Brandon, if you
no. I was gonna say something about.
okay,
like,
go ahead. Go. No, say it.
The only reason I finished it is because we were doing that chat.
Okay. Okay.
It's not in the same realm as like Hellblade, but we pushed through that together as well, so that we could talk about it. It wasn't that pain level, but if there's so many, when we talked about it on the talk, like I don't care for that combat one bit. The shooting is terrible. The hand-to-hand
Shooting is
combat
bad.
isn't for me. I can respect what it's trying to do, but it's just not something
Right.
that interests me. Having combat like that. The only thing that was keeping me going was the driving first factor was that we were going to do a deep dive review on it and stuff. And I thought it would also be good that if you're coming in with such a positive take, and I come in with a little bit of a counterpoint, that always helps balancing. But the story, that's something that I can't like dog it for at all. Like it felt as if you were playing a movie when you were doing them core story missions. It
Yeah.
was near flawless. And to further like throw praise on it, I didn't know it was Troy Baker doing it, which is what I said in the thing. I didn't realize that until the Game Awards rolled around, and I was like,
Right.
holy shit, that's not Harrison? That they've not just like AI ripped, like they've had him say a few voice lines, or maybe they scanned the movie and like ripped that in.
Right.
Dude, that's Troy.
Mhm.
Kudos, man. Couldn't tell the difference. So,
Yeah, and
Well
that's
said.
the thing. Is that so I think Metaphor and Indie are right next to one another. I think that that's kind of how that lines up. Indie is my game of the year. Metaphor is your game of the year. You weren't so crazy about Indie. I wasn't so crazy about Metaphor. I think that's just kind of
Hmm.
those two are right next to one another.
So what about
So
Banishers?
So does that mean those should be lower? I guess I'm just trying to understand because Indy's your favorite. But I guess we're going to be in that position anyway because like Astro was mine, Metaphor was yours, Loon, and then Indy was I guess we're going to be in that conundrum anyway, I suppose. So
But see, I also love Astro, and I also love Silent Hill 2 remake.
right.
And then Banishers, yeah, we both enjoy. That's the thing. Do we put Metaphor? Do we put Metaphor and Indie above Banishers? Where Banishers, Jeffrey and I both enjoyed a lot. I don't think either of us are. Well, I mean, it's your number 4. You enjoyed it a great
yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
I think we maybe go
really
Banishers
love
ahead.
that. I think Banisher should be, I think that Metaphor Indie, I can see it's hard to say that about Indie because it's your game of the year though, but I would say Metaphor Indie is like 5-4 in whatever way we want to go for that.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
I don't know. We got to make a decision here. So
Yeah, I mean, it's both of our game of the year, Metaphor and Indie. So I think dropping those, I'm fine with Metaphor going ahead of Indie. I'm totally okay with that. So,
Indie 5?
Yeah, Indie 5, Metaphor at 4.
Okay.
And then we have I think a pretty easy ranking from
But-
here on. Obviously,
but how do you-
Banishers 3.
So we're basing the Metaphor Indie based on that was your guys' game of the year. I guess I just feel weird because mine's still on the table, but that was my game of the year. Why
I
aren't your
love
guys?
it.
Okay.
I love Astrobot and I love Silent Hill 2 remake.
Balloon, where are you? I guess where are you at on that?
So-
Like Astro, Silent Hill, all that jazz.
So Astro,
Not Silent Hill, but I know you haven't
Astro
played it.
wouldn't be something like I would respect it if I played it. I probably wouldn't have ended up enjoying it. Banishers, there's no way that's going. Number one.
No, 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 no.
For me, the way I'm in, like, I'm probably going to take a sidestep because I haven't played them other two. But if I was to go with them free, it would 100% be like Silent Hill number one for me because
Well,
of
and-
how powerful of an impact that. Because I played the original game this year, so if it's very very similar in many of the things that it did, that probably would have ended up being my game of the year if I played that remake.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we also look at quality to some degree. That's why we have Infinite Wealth up so high, where neither of us have played that.
True.
You know what I mean? That's a solo passion thing. And then Loon hasn't played either Astro or Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
But Astro is like my number, it's in my top 10. It's your number 1. And then Silent Hill 2 is in both of our top 5.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any other crossover on the list where it's like that high on more than one person's list. Those are the only two games, unless I'm missing something, but I don't think there's anything else that the crossover is like top tier for both people or for more than one person in general.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm really torn on is, sorry, Brand, I feel fine with Indie at 5, but I guess, again, Metaphor was not for me from what I played. I just didn't put it in my list because I only played a small portion. It just wasn't for me. It's hard for me to think about putting Metaphor below Banishers, which is weird for me to say that because Metaphor wasn't for me.
Then do we drop Banishers below Indie and Metaphor? That way all of our number ones are in the top 5?
That's kind of where I feel like it just makes more sense. Although based on your logic, I get what you're saying. As much as we adored it, I feel like not having each one of our top in the top doesn't make
Right.
a lot of sense. I don't know. What do you think,
Okay.
Lou? Does that make sense to you having all one of our tops?
I don't actually mind it being fourth place because did you finish Banishers, both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like what you did with Veilguard. I
So
did like everything and anything because I couldn't get
you
enough of
both
that game.
finished that. You both finished Silent Hill 2,
Yeah,
and you both finished Astrobot.
yeah,
So because it's a two outweighing one, like that's 3 titles left over that
true.
you both finished and you both all had love for. So I think
Right.
Metaphor consider 4.
Okay, so Banishers 3.
Critically listing it below Banishers does feel weird, but it's just the 3 of us here, so I think
Exactly.
it fits
And
in
I
this
mean-
kind of list.
And that's the thing. Like, if we were doing this objectively, Indiana Jones would be ahead of Metaphor, obviously. So it's like
It wouldn't even be on the
it's
list.
hard
What are you
to-
talking about?
They're so different games. Like they're such
I'm-
polar opposite games. That's the problem.
I'm totally just talking shit. I was just prodding. I was just poking Loon. Nah, if we were doing this objectively, Metaphor would be number 1. All right.
I do gotta say, Loon, you have so many people backing you because Tix Mix says you can always compromise and just put Infinite Wealth first. And then and then Panda Grog says Yakuza first sounds lovely. And then Guildmaster Story, who's saying hi, also said agree with Tix Mix. So apparently, Loon, everyone has your back. So apparently, Brandon, you and I are wrong for not having played it. And that should actually also be first. And we don't know what we're talking about, apparently. So I love that.
That's hilarious. I definitely like to play it at some point, but
Banishers 3,
yeah,
Right.
Banishers 3.
right?
And then we have the final 2, Astro and Silent Hill 2 Remake. So, Jeffrey, I know Astro would be yours, Silent Hill 2 would be my pick. How do you think we should wrestle this one?
I don't want to say I don't care because either, well, because yeah, even in my list, my top 3, Epic Mickey and Silent Hill 2 were tied. So even though there
Right.
was, you know what I mean? So like they were both 1 and 2 to an extent. So my only hesitation of I'm fine if Astrobot's 2, honestly. I mean, I love both games. My only hesitation of putting Silent Hill 2 at number 1, even though I'm fine if it is, so maybe that's just a moot point, is that it's still a remake. It's still a game that came back. Even though I've already said they can both be held up as completely different experiences, which I stand by, Astrobot is still a completely brand new, completely fresh. Like, yes, there was different Astrobot games, but it's still a brand new full experience, not based on a previous game. But that being said, Brandon, I don't really care where they go. I'm fine with either going either place. So what are your I don't really have a passionate response either way. So
Yeah, I would lean towards Silent Hill 2 just from a personal enjoyment standpoint, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd really want to have a remake at number one either. I think I would rather kind of honor the creativity and the not necessarily innovative nature of Astrobot, but the just uniqueness of it as this kind of breakthrough, something that we don't see often at all anymore, and just kind of making a stamp, making its presence known in 2024. So I'm totally fine with Astrobot being number one.
all right, so Silent Hill 2 remake at 2 and then Astro number 1. Loon, even though I know you haven't played them, but based on like what you know about games and all these things, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on those positions, or what would you think based on just
Of them two, or the
outside.
list as a whole?
Yeah.
The list as a whole.
Yeah.
Those two,
No,
I
not the
think.
list as a whole. We're not putting it at number 1. Stop it.
Oh. No, the arguments obviously it's better to put a brand new game to make sure it's number one and stuff like that. It does feel a bit weird because there is always that weirdness of remakes, remasters, and DLC. A lot of people feel very strongly about them never being anywhere near, and it kind of differs. Some people like tip the scales one way, like they're okay with remakes and stuff. So yeah, it it's clearly won the hearts of so many people. It won. Where is it? It won here. It won here, and it won at the Game Awards. So it's won 3 times in a row now. So clearly it
Yeah.
does something right.
Well, and I mean, also,
So
I
yeah.
think that, yeah, I think Silent Hill 2, I do kind of, Resident Evil 4 seems to always get away with it. Final Fantasy 7 seems to get away with it. But like for some reason, whenever it hits Silent Hill, there is like this little bit of, well, should it be a remake? It's like, I don't know. Silent Hill 2 is a remake just as much as RE4 is a remake, just as much as RE2 is a remake, even, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the success, and I don't know how many copies Astrobot sold, so I guess I can't speak on that, but I really do think Astrobot's going to help be a paradigm shift for maybe not all companies, but like for a lot of bigger AAA companies to finally be like, you know what? Look at how much passion fans and just people in general, even people that don't game that much, have for a purely single player. And I know Silent Hill 2 is as well. Again, I don't care if that goes in first. I like that too. But you know what I mean? It just signals that we can just have fun, wholesome, pure gaming experiences. Like I think it's going to shift the paradigm a little bit to where enough publishers now might be like, you know what? Let's just lean into that. But
Yeah.
the same could be said for Silent Hill 2, I guess, though. So
No, not really. I mean, definitely, I think that Astrobot, in terms of what it could accomplish and have a wider industry-wide impact, I think is definitely more. We'll feel that much more than we'll feel the impact of Silent Hill 2 remake. But that being said, man, I'm totally fine with Astrobot being Game of the Year for old unnecessary, and that's crazy. Game of the Year for the community and for
oh
the
yeah.
final vote.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Oh,
Good point.
Astro.
Well,
Absolutely.
Christian in the live chat, hello Christian, says Dream Team. I don't know if he's referring to us because I think maybe more like the Nightmare Team, but sure. Dream Team. Tixmix says great list. Panda Grog says Astrobot just has a good narrative to its development. That's a good point. Talk about like wholesome development where there wasn't apparently any of that crunch and crap. It was just make a good game, put it out when it's ready, it's polished. Like talk about that's a good point. You know, good
Well,
wholesome development.
yeah, and it's like even if you are crunching, it's 60 people crunching. Like so they're making a choice to do that if they want to do that, opposed to this mandate handed down for 4,000 people to be it's a totally different thing.
Well, we did it. Yay. Where's the I feel like we need some like
Absolutely.
fanfare or something because now it just like feels so anticlimactic.
Well, and that's the thing. I didn't want to make this like, we came up with the idea of us doing our top 10 last second. So it's not like we had some grand plan for this. Just wanted to, test out the waters, do this live streaming a little bit. Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all so much for joining me for this stream to kick off hopefully a host of streams to come very soon. So yeah, man. Loon, was there anything you wanted to test out on the live stream to get the audience's feedback on anything before we got out of here? And Jeffrey, if you need to bounce, feel free, brother.
Oh, I'm fine. Just real quick, a huge shout out to Loon again, because, a peek behind the curtain, Loon put in so much chunks of work. Ugh, that was a weird way to say that. Loon put in, I regret saying that. Loon put in a whole bunch of, we're going to go with it, a whole bunch of chunky work to make this happen today for all of you. And so I just want to, again, Loon, seriously, that was, you put so much in to make this happen for us today. And I just showed up. So I appreciate you both for making this happen. So,
Absolutely.
thank
Hell,
you
I
for
just showed up too.
all right. Well, Loon, thank you then.
Yeah, obviously it's not perfect. It's going to be something that we iron out every single time we do it. We'll improve, just like the video side of things. But it's exciting as well to have this as another door to explore for the channel, because this opens up so much more in the way of possibilities for video ideas and doing other stuff, because we have this that we can do straight live, and the back and forth from the community is awesome. In the comments stuff, we have tons of other stuff that we could do. And the only other thing, because we have, is it Split Fiction coming up?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You wanted
yeah.
to do
In March, yeah.
You wanted to do a co-op, maybe stream of that.
We'll definitely.
We can definitely do that. It would it's going to be having to be moved to Twitch when we do that. However, for the live
Ooh.
of that, so
Oh,
that's
really?
just a precaution, and then it can be moved over to YouTube after.
Okay. Okay.
So
We'll figure it out.
but you can just put out a community message and be like, we're over here for the time being.
Got you. They won't let you do them on YouTube.
Not from through Xbox, no.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
damn.
that's the only downside. I think PlayStation has like a thing tied down with YouTube, because they have their stuff built in really well, and then Xbox never got that. You can't like live stream from YouTube straight. I would need like a capture card and everything. Whereas with Twitch, it's just click 2 buttons and we're ready to go.
Nice. And can we be on camera?
I don't know.
We'll get all that worked out.
We
If
can
need
get
to
that
a
worked out,
capture
but that's
card,
just
we'll-
stuff, like I said, down in the pipeline. These are just tons of this. It opens up the door, like I said.
Yeah.
So there's so many different
And
things.
if we end up needing to get a capture card or whatever, we'll cover. We'll get that handled. Yeah. So
Do you want to
was
go over
there
the
any-
last? Sorry, there was a delay. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
No, I say, do you want to? There's a few last like live chat comments, and if you want to get to real quick about a couple questions and people shouting you out, Loon, for all your hard work. So we've had double digits here the whole time. So thank you, everyone. Seriously, as our first stream, this is incredibly. We're blessed and grateful that people could be here and chat. So thank you all so much. I know we're all grateful for that.
Absolutely. Timix says you were going to stream the Xbox. Yeah, the Xbox Direct. We're definitely going to do that. I think it will be all three of us, right?
As of now, yes, but we'll see what happens. It'll be
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah, it'll definitely the plan is for us to do the Xbox Direct on the 23rd. I think that's going to be around 11 Central Time.
6 p.m. UK time.
Okay, so
usual.
yeah,
when
Usual.
we would record.
Yep.
Um,
As of now, we should all be on it. Yeah.
But that's also that's why this stream just popped out of nowhere. This was kind of just like, we wanted to get a test one out of the way so that we didn't dive straight into that direct thing and it burst into flames. And be like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, everyone's saying how good of a job you did, Loon. So
you did a great job, man. Guildmaster says, if you guys are going to be streaming gameplay, is there any chance of the new Monster Hunter game? Probably not. Just because we have a lot of behind the scenes stuff to get worked out on the streaming side first. And that Monster Hunter comes out in, it comes out. I
February.
was thinking Monster Hunter comes out this month. Okay.
No, it's
February.
So
only
maybe,
February, isn't it?
yeah, maybe we could get on board with some Monster Hunter streams then. That'd be fun as hell.
and doing like because isn't it co-op? You can play with like people online, right? So maybe we could like all play together and do a fun little like live where we all are hunting like a beast or something. That'd be pretty cool actually. And get the community involved with like
Does it
watching
have
that. That'd be cool.
crossplay, though? That's the
Oh.
big question mark. 'cause
Yeah.
we're all
Well-
I'm definitely buying that PS5 physical.
But we can still be on the stream and just make it like a fun, engaging time with everyone and like just showcasing the game. So maybe we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. I want to be smart about the stuff we pick to stream, the games wise, because like I don't think those are gonna do great views wise, and I do think that there does have to come a point where you start thinking about like, and we should definitely try it, no doubt about that. But it's like, should we put that time into recording a video? You know what I mean? Opposed to, but we'll just see. You know, we'll test them out, run them. If they do great, then fuck yeah, that's about the easiest work we could possibly do.
Yeah, the expectation is as long as people understand it's not going to be like a let's play. Let's get that completely out of the way. It's not going to
Right.
be a
Oh,
start to
God,
finish
no.
thing. It's probably going to be
No.
a opening hour, maybe 2 hours, first impressions kind of thing.
Or just like a video deep dive, kind of like you guys do with indie or something like that. Even just if a couple of us play it, or even one of us plays it, and just have like a little interview discussion. Like, you know, that can be true for any of these games coming out this year. Just if we don't do that kind of a thing, just having like a discussion and like a little deep dive review or something. You know, like at the end of the day, we just want to make stuff that people are interested in. That's going to come with testing, as Brandon said. And so like, you know, we can't unfortunately do all the things because we all have lives and jobs and things. Do the best we can to have fun as friends at the same time too. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that just has to be priority to make sure we're not making it work, and doing the stuff we enjoy doing, while also, you know, making sure we're spending our time as wisely as possible since it's limited. Okay, so Loom, was there anything you wanted to hit on before we jumped out of here? Did you want to try to run a video to see how it sounded, to see if the audience wanted to get feedback, or are you pretty confident that
Is
we're
this
locked
us
in on that?
wrapping up? We're not doing the year in review?
Yeah, remember we were gonna do that, you and I, as a standalone thing.
Oh, okay.
That's why we did the other instead, because there's not really a way for me to jump out of the stream without, since I don't have that prepared. So
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That works.
that'll be just
Get
you guys
outta
thing.
here. With
Yeah, you punk, you whippersnapper, and you're slacking off, just showing up.
I mean, if you wanted to, Jeffrey, if you wanted to, because I don't think that's going to take long at all for us to run through ours. If you wanted to drop out or if you wanted to stay and talk shit while we go through, like I don't care. I don't.
Why don't you guys go? How long? If you had to just guess, how long do you think that'd take? Because I mean, I really only have probably more than 30 minutes left that I need to dip out. So how long do you think that would take to go over that? I don't want to rush you guys, but I'm happy to stay and just like go through the live chat and just like chat with people and like talk out loud while you guys are doing that. But
So there's
that's really up to you
4
guys.
There's 4 tabs of stuff, so it probably would extend longer than 30.
But yeah,
Just
you can
stop.
you can hang out for as long as you want to, and then just jump when you got to jump.
Yeah, I just don't. The only thing, Loon, is I just don't know how jumping out works for it. It's not just like weird third little camera sitting there. That's the thing. Is it
so
just might
the-
make more
the-
sense to do it separately.
We can do that. Oh, do you not? Is it not hidden?
If we just
Loon-
wrap-
no, Loon did it. Loon did it. I see on the stream. Loon, yeah, we're good. So you could jump out, Jeffrey, and we'd be good.
I'm
'Cause
the
you just put him back
master.
in, right?
I'm the master of the craft.
Good
the
shit,
down.
man. Yep. Good shit. Yeah, so Loon's able to, I think, hide one of the cameras, if I'm not mistaken. That's what you're doing on your back end, probably?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I will jump out then. I just didn't know if people were. Yeah, whatever works for you guys.
I mean, if you want to hang out until you got to go, totally. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. However you want to roll it out, brother.
No, I'm gonna jet. I'll let you guys enjoy this segment. I'm gonna head out while I can, and in case it goes, you guys aren't having to rush, and then yeah, we'll join you up on the next one.
Perfect, homie. Well, I will see you pretty soon. What are we doing next?
It
Yeah,
would be
well,
the
we gotta-
review, the direct, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Or have
and
you
we'll
got-
probably record some stuff before that. So we'll talk. We don't have to do this now. So thank you everyone for letting me be a part of this. Thank you, Brandon and Loon, for everything and letting me show up and be with all of you guys. Thank you to the chat for being welcoming to us doing this as a threesome. Ugh, wish I wouldn't have said it that way either. Thank you for letting us be a throuple. We'll use that word instead. As I'm just gonna leave. Okay, bye. Thanks everyone.
Take it easy, brother. I'll
See
see
you
you
later.
soon.
See you guys.
Oh no! No, it's where I've cut the. Just bear with me. I'll just need to rearrange them. Yep, that's fine. Alrighty. Do it on the fly. It doesn't have to be perfect. But now we know that happens when we do that. No, Alright. So while he does that, we're just going to be doing... Ooh, knock the mic. Perfect. The year in review stuff. So I believe we've got... Hopefully these tab over correctly. We have the official Xbox one for me. And then I use True Achievements a lot. And they ended up doing their own year in review, which dives into other stuff. And does like other statistics. And then Brandon uploaded his via a YouTube short. So that will be the PlayStation one, and then his Xbox one. So we'll just go through them. They shouldn't take long. More with the shorts being a minute, and then these being maybe slightly longer. But yeah, that is what we have lined up. What I'll do as well is to any of the latecomers, I'll repost the Discord link and stuff, and then I'll jump into the Discord after and kind of give a little rundown as to how the Discord works, because we have the general chat, and then we have different text channels for your pickups, your story clears, and your recent 100%s. And then I also do a yearly completion list behind the scenes of whatever you've posted in your recent story clears for the year. We end up building a list for each individual person to keep track of, which if you end up going into the Discord, you will see the list from last year. So let's go get that link. Alright, should be that done. Welcome back. Yeah, it's not perfect, but you know, it works. I forgot that was going to completely happen. So he left and it just collapsed, and it's like, oh, well, that's how that works. Right. It's kind of weird when we was doing it behind the scenes as well. The first test that we did, when I was tabbing through these, it never worked, but it tabs through them. Right. It's going through all the different tabs just fine. Cool. Cool. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god. Right. I'll have to just It's a bit weird. Does that mean if...
So if one person leaves, it cuts both audio channels?
No, so it's... it's kind of weird, but it's fine. I'll just reshuffle it. For some reason, it tied the audio to Jeffrey's camera cut, and your camera
Weird.
cut doesn't have a audio. So you shared audios, but different. Yeah, it's fine.
Static.
Just means that this
Maybe
needs to
back.
be. Needs to be stretched and remade.
Loon, I appreciate you, brother, because I would be in a full-blown panic right now if I was trying to do this shit solo. I absolutely yeah, I have no I have no idea whatsoever how to do any of what you're doing.
Right, that's fine, right? It's not perfectly
Yep.
lined up, but you know it is.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
It'll work. It'll work.
totally fine.
And that's brought his audio back now, right? If you speak.
Yeah, Static says that my audio's back.
Cool. We fixed it. Right. Did you want to? Because this is all just going to be the same. This isn't a cut for a new video, is it? And stuff. This is just diving straight.
No,
in.
yeah, no. Totally, yeah, we'll do everything live. Do it all live.
Right. So I can close that. Right. Whenever you're ready to go.
Yeah, are you doing mine first?
We can do. Did you want to do the PlayStation one first?
Yeah, that's fine. However you want to roll it out.
How does it
You're-
look as well? Because this is obviously in the way of a short.
The short, yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, you can see it, so it is what it is. Like, no need to really adjust anything.
But what if I full screen that? Has that broken it? made it better.
It's yeah. There we go. There we go. That's much better. Much better.
Right. Did you want to
Yep.
give any like information
Yeah,
before we roll it? Or
No, let's just kind of run into it. And I scrolled through it pretty quickly, so you might have to pause a couple times as we're going through it. But I think it
I
should be
don't
all
know how
succinct.
shorts work on this today. I don't think I can rewind. Oh, I can rewind it. Okay. So, as you can see here, there you go. We'll just pause it there, and you can just go through this. 111
cool.
games you played in 2024.
Yeah. So we're doing our year-end recaps just to put a final button on 2024. This will probably be the last time we talk about 2024 at all, I would assume. I don't think we have any other videos coming out that are anything to do with 2024. So I feel like this is probably the right move to go ahead and cover this and then get it out the way. That way we can move into 2025 starting tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. Anywho, my year-end recap. This is for PlayStation starting off. Played 111 games. I'm gonna have to make this a little. Okay, there we go. Played 111 games. 83 on the PS5, 28 on the PS4. First game of the year was old San Andreas. And you can just let it run and I'll kind of talk over it as it goes.
So do you want me to pause it at each? Because they have the segments here. Did you want to pause it at each segment?
No, let it run. So the most played game of the year for me was Dragon Age: The Veilguard at 43 hours. So not a lot of time. I think you'll see my top 5 is pretty split, where number 2 is at 40 hours with WWE 2K24. Number 3 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at 37 hours. Number 4, College Football at 33. Dragon's Dogma 2 at 29. So Rebirth, pretty much that's the main story, calculating that. College Football 25, I 100%ed it on Xbox, platinumed it on PlayStation, and played probably another 50 hours on different buddies' consoles. So, like, that's probably my most played game. If everything was all calculated up together, that would probably be my most played game overall. So, yeah, those are my top 5 most played games of 2024 on the PlayStation side of things. And then we can move on to, I think the
Scrolled
next
very
one is.
quick off that. It said that you were an adventurer.
This shit doesn't matter. The calendar, so my most played game of the month, Tekken 8, I think that came out late in January. So I played 3 hours of that in January, but played more of it in February. My most played game of February was Banisher's Ghost of New Eden with 13 hours.
That's cool. It keeps track of the amount of times you booted it.
Yeah, they have a really good recap whenever it fucking works. And we were gonna do this earlier, but PlayStation just the thing didn't work for like weeks. And then my most played game of March 2024 was WWE 2K24 with 40 hours sunk into that bad boy. Uh, um,
I forget there's a
yeah.
delay. My bad.
Say what?
I said, sorry, because I'm pressing it play, and then because obviously you're waiting for it on the stream to catch up. So you finished reading it, and it's just like you're still probably waiting for Stellar Blade.
Right, that makes sense.
So I'll try and get that earlier done next time.
No, it's no problem. Stellar Blade at 14 hours. I probably played a little bit of that in May as well.
In two play sessions as well. You finished it.
Jesus. Oh, just in April. Okay. Oh, there it goes. It loaded up. Go back to it. I think it says 6 now.
Ooh.
Never mind. It's no big deal. It's no big deal at all.
Oh, come back. What's that?
There it goes.
Fugitive?
4. Oh, it said 4.
Yeah.
Okay. American Fugitive. How was that my most played?
It doesn't matter. American Fugitive.
That's my most played game of May. It was 6 hours. And then into June.
No, 17 hours looked, it says.
Weird.
That's what I mean. It kind of scrolled past it very quick.
So no chance I played 17 hours, so that's probably counting pause time because I leave my games paused nonstop. I'll often just pause my game and like go work for 4 or 5 hours, come home, go do whatever. And like we're at the point with this console generation where with quick resume and all of that shit where it's like, you know, are people even turning their consoles off at this point? I mean, I know we probably should, but I don't ever turn my shit off. June, my most played game was Grand Theft Auto Online. Okay, I guess that's just GTA 5.
I think
GTA 5 this year.
Yep.
Yeah, so 27 hours in the old GTA 5. I'll probably cut this part out next year because it's like, who the fuck cares about played game per month? July, Life is Strange 1, 13 hours. I enjoyed Life is Strange 1 a good bit. I like Life is Strange 2 a little bit more, but I definitely like Life is Strange 1 more than Double Exposure. Then old Star Wars Outlaws at 29 hours in August. Yeah, I think Star Wars Outlaws is so slept on. I think in 5 years, when the culture wars dies out, people will be like, yeah, that's a great game.
95 game sessions? Excuse me?
What the fuck for Life is Strange 2?
Man, yeah, you were really, really gelling with that.
That's so wild. Yeah. Life is Strange 2 is 16 hours and 95 game sessions. That makes all the sense in the world. Oh, and then I didn't even know. Okay. Metaphor, October, 17 hours. I think so. They split up the demo of Metaphor in the actual game. So I played like 10 hours of the demo and then 17 hours of the actual game.
Right.
November, Dragon Age the Veilguard at 37 hours. 109 gaming sessions. What the fuck is going on with that?
Oh, no, because that says monthly. I don't think I don't know, actually, because I was going to say maybe that means the gaming sessions of everything you played in the month. That's how many times you booted it up.
Oh, okay.
But then...
That could...
Yeah, it has to be because, okay, so you played 108 hours that month because it says about 17 games. It's just the only thing The Last of Us matters is the very top of 21 hours.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes total sense.
Yep. All right, we figured it out at December.
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel that shit next month. Who gives a absolute fuck about the per month basis?
Yep, this can just run.
Cool. And who cares about that bullshit? I think I skipped that pretty quickly. Here we go. The total hours logged 807 with 661 play sessions, 111 games played, for a total of 807. I think that's the final slide for the PlayStation 1. Oh, we got the trophies. 961 trophies, 1 platinum. All the rest of that shit, who cares? I don't platinum things, but I did platinum NCAA 25 because I just
And that's
wanted a
it,
reason
just
to
on
play it.
repeat. Cool.
So what?
I said, and then it just repeats back to San
Nice,
Andreas.
man.
So
Yeah.
hopefully, me closing this doesn't screw it up.
I have no idea. It's still looking fine on my end, but it's still rolling through the recap.
Yeah, it's sort of delayed. It should be on the Xbox One now.
Okay, cool. Yep. And then this is mine, my Xbox One.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. It's a little bit harder to read this one. I guess they just got more going on there. My 2024 Xbox year-end review. 59,910 gamer score. Elder Scrolls V was my number one game of 2024. I played 102 games on Xbox. That can't be true. And logged 711 hours. Earned 1,217 achievements and 33,000 gamer score in 2024. That was my big goal, was to hit, like, I don't remember what the goal was, but it was to
You
do
wanted
some
to hit
achievement hunting.
50k overall, I believe. Was
Oh,
the
so
overall one? I believe you did it.
yeah, I went 9,000 above it. Almost got 60K. I'm kind of in the mode now where I'm trophy hunting on PlayStation this year. I just, whenever there's nothing to play, I just end up booting up old sports games and just running through, and because trophies are so fun to collect in sports games, in my opinion, because it's like adding another reason to play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just some extra task to do. And then we got top 10%, top 1%. I don't give a shit about where I rank amongst the rest of humanity. I just want to kind of look at the games. My top games of 2024, number one was Skyrim, with 31 hours put into the old Elder Scrolls 5. And number two would have been Yakuza 0 with 27 hours played. And number three, Sleeping Dogs, with 26 hours into the old Sleeping Dogs for a nice replay. Was kind of debating replaying it again on PS3. I linked my PlayStation 3 finally to my account. So I was like, I might as well go grab some Sleeping Dogs trophies. But yeah, those are all. Ooh, I'm sorry for that. I didn't notice my rigid ass scrolling backwards there. Eesh, I probably should have edited around that. Yeah, so those are my most played games, my other favorites of 2024. Just kind of seeing it scroll through there. You got some Deadly Premonition, you got some Oblivion, you got some Mafia 3, some Gears 5, some Saboteur, some Walking Dead, some Balatro, some college football, bunch of good shit on there. So yeah, just a good widespread schedule for 2024. Playing some Xbox, some PlayStation, and yeah, that's pretty much my year-end recap. I don't have a bunch of fancy words for it. Just kind of scrolling through it and showing y'all what it looks like.
Right, me up next.
Yeah.
Ended up digging out the actual links, so I thought it would be a little bit difficult to, because you can see this, right? This is all fine.
I can totally see it.
Cool. So this is the Xbox One, as you can see. Year in review. So that's the total, not how much I earned this year. Number one game, to nobody's surprise, is, can I just do this? Oh, I can. Perfect. So Football Manager, number one game. And what you'll notice is obviously big number, but like you, I've noticed it tags AFK hours. And much like you, because I obviously work from home and stuff, I leave it running constantly. It's something I should probably get better at, like turning it off between things, because I do like the statistic side of things. So when I kind of come back and look back at like, oh, how long did it actually take me to beat it? And it turns around and goes 65 hours. And it's like, it's a 15-hour game.
Right. And Xbox is really bad about that in particular, because I saw like Hellblade 2 was one that I had a ridiculous number of hours into it, opposed to the amount of hours that it actually took me to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the different genres, nice little bit of mix, which is always good. Wonder what other. Does it not tell us? No. Top 1%. Booyah.
Yeah.
Top 2% of most active for that game in particular. And as I said, Rocket League, passion of mine. But actual, I guess you would say, something that isn't an annual sports release or a sports game that's a live service. Lords of the Fallen was the thing that landed third. Ended up 100%ing it.
Nice.
Required the permadeath, you get one life and stuff. It was very grueling, but I did it. Can we start from the beginning over here? Oh, overshot. So Inquisitor Martyr at 4, Elden Ring at 5. It's not going to give us any info on these. It's just like the PlayStation 1. Felguard 6, Crusader Kings 3, 7, Baldur's Gate 3, Balloons. Kind of surprised Metaphor ranked so low.
At 10, huh? Yeah, well, I
For
guess,
playtime.
yeah.
It's very weird. Infinite Wealth, Fallout 4, won 100% this year. Call of Duty, Wolong, Rotator, Unicorn Overlord, Army of Ruin. Also surprised this ranked so low. I would have thought I would have put more time into Kingdom Come. It was a very long journey.
Yeah, some of that stuff I don't really believe, because it had NCAA football at like the bottom for mine. And so I platinumed it on PlayStation, but I also 100%ed it on Xbox, in which I played more of NCAA as like a co-op experience on PlayStation. But I don't know. I mean, to platinum it alone or to 100% it, that's 20 hours.
Yeah, these are definitely
Something like
like not accurate because Elden Ring, I can believe we did the whole DLC together. Inquisitor Martyr was fully co-op for the 100%. You're talking hours. I booted up Ashen and played it for about 25 minutes co-op. It's a bit weird that you're listing that there, considering like Call of Duty was there, and then friends you played with. I don't really want to hear from you, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess that I should mention why people are wondering why the hell I got my damn phone in the camera. How we have it set up, we can't like, so I can't see Loon's screen. So I'm watching the same live stream that everybody else is watching, just trying to make sure that I'm seeing what y'all are seeing.
Yeah, he's just seeing the
I'm
chat
not
and
being
stuff.
disrespectful.
It's all good. And then finally, just the True Achievements one. Like I said, this is where I'm most active. I guess we'll click rewatch. It'll be interesting. I haven't seen them side by side, and I'm not going to be able to remember what stuff was what. Hey, look, I achieved your goal in the yeah. So
Oh yeah, 50K, nice. Oh, and you got that all this year.
yeah,
Sheesh.
not sure what that is. So 191 games played. It's gonna be Football Manager, to be honest. That's weird that it puts Lord of the Fallen.
That is weird.
Hmm.
I wonder why.
I think maybe True Achievement stops tracking after you've 100% the game.
Oh,
Rarest
okay.
achievement as a dwarf in a Varangian adventure outside of Europe. 4.05%. Well, you can't say I don't dabble in different genres.
Yeah, definitely a lot of genre diversity. No doubt about that.
So tons of dipping in.
Yep. 46 genres played. I didn't even know there was 46 genres available to be played.
Nice long active amount days. Comparing me to the average True Achievement member.
Yeah, I'm like a little bit behind your, like you said earlier, I'm a little bit behind. So it's, yeah, it takes whenever you talk about it, that it takes a second for it to like load it. I'm like, okay, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's all good. And then there's just that.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet dude. Is that 180 games played? Right
I
next to the 2000. Yeah.
think so. I don't know if that's clears. It can't be clears. There's no way that's clears.
No.
It has to be played.
That'd be
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Dude, that's a lot of fucking video games. A lot of video gaming on both of our end. So those are our year-end recaps. Just to put that out there into the ether so that people can scroll through, check that stuff out. I think it's nice to, if you're creating content about video games, to put some of that stuff out there so that people know, hey, okay, I am actually tuning into people who do play video games.
Yeah.
You know, where it's that you get an idea of the amount of time that someone's sinking into something and can kind of, you know, base your opinion off of that, where it's like, okay, cool, these guys dabble a little bit, and you know, we're not tuning in to listen to just another random idiot on the internet who doesn't do their due diligence.
Yeah, we have our wild opinions, but at least we play the games and we've formulated them opinions
Absolutely.
ourselves, as you can see. There's the evidence.
Totally. Yeah, Timix says my Xbox recap was pretty much exclusively games I played on Steam. Hope they can fix the recap next year. That's interesting. So they also include Steam games, I'm guessing, if you played them on PC?
So the question I'd pose to you would be, are you downloading them off of the Xbox store on like the computer and then running them through Steam? Or is this it's picking it up even if you're booting them from Steam and having downloaded and purchased them from Steam? Because that's crazy
Yeah, interesting.
if that's a thing.
That is. Um, Man, there's so much stuff I want to talk to you about with Xbox in general. There's been a lot of shit that's been popping off lately, but we've already been streaming for forever, so we'll kind of go ahead and bounce out of here. But I am so like the Xbox Prime that leaked, and then the, you know, obviously everything with the handheld, and then now it's Halo coming to PS5 and Gears coming to PS5 and the flight sim and all this shit that's been leaking lately, and I'm like, I need to get in the booth with Loon and let our thoughts fly on the state of Xbox. It's always obviously always very curious to hear your thoughts on Xbox because you're so entrenched in it, and then from my perspective of not being so entrenched in it, it's
Yeah,
a good back and forth
they
always.
were touching on it. Obviously, the mystery developer from a legendary Japanese IP remake for
Yeah.
Oblivion. They did an interview with one of the Starfield devs explaining why dismemberment was axed from Starfield
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So they're or even like even when they're not doing anything, they constantly just somebody wants to talk about Xbox, you can pretend that they're irrelevant, but by God, do they seem to own the news space all the damn time.
Yeah, well, and it's the thing. It's we've never seen a company in this situation before. We've never seen a console manufacturer take the pivot that they're taking. So I think it's just endlessly fascinating. And I also think, I mean, they're the biggest publisher in the world now. You know, so it's like if they're not making news, that's a bad thing to some regard. So I don't even necessarily think it's negative that they're always in the news. Because I mean they got so many damn games, so they better be in the news to some degree.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, we'll definitely dive into that. Give all our thoughts on some Xbox. Wait, before we get out of here, what's your prediction for that one big game, the big Japanese game that could? Let's lock that in before we go into our. Well, we'll probably talk a little bit about, but whenever we do our pre-show before the direct. But Xbox Direct, what is the one big reveal that you're expecting?
So I'm gonna do one completely out there wild one, complete fantasy. Like this would be crazy if that became the thing, and then one that I think is more based in like reality. They've been pally pally with Sega, and this is going to be the wild one first. How crazy would it be to announce that Persona 6 is going to be a timed exclusive? That would be wild.
Mm.
I think they put Metaphor out, but Persona 6 has already been in that grind for being developed for quite a few years now. You would think, so it's got to be
Yeah.
they've got to be ready to close and show something eventually, and that would be kind of crazy. The more based in reality thing, for me personally, what I'm thinking of is, Lies of P's been out for a few years now. They kind of heavily the the relationship that they built bringing that to Game Pass and stuff, I think helped the game succeed in the way it did. So probably Lies of P sequel is what I reckon. But there's so many to choose from.
They said Japan, right? Well, I mean, I think that was Windows Central that said Japan, so you never know. It could be. But is Lies of they're South
That's South Korea. Yeah.
Korean? Okay,
But this is what I mean. When you hear stuff through like word of mouth, it can always get changed and stuff. Somebody hears like
Totally.
Asian developer and they just immediately go to like Japan
Totally.
as the powerhouse.
And I don't really know a lot about Windows Central about their track record, but it seems that they have a decent enough track record from what I can remember. I mean, I know they've gotten some stuff wrong, but I think that they're typically on the mark about Xbox stuff. Um, I would love for it to be Metaphor or for Persona 6 exclusive. I would fucking love that because that would show that they still have some investment in the console ecosystem. Um, you know what I'm kind of leaning towards? I'm kind of leaning towards Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, that would be a
Got
good
brought
return.
back with the 2D, that history, with the OG Xbox, Ninja Gaiden Black, and I think that would make some sense. And I don't feel like they're doing that 2D game for no reason. You know what I mean? Like I think they're trying to test the water because like Prince of Persia even has the Sands of Time coming back.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. They're also saying like legendary IP and stuff like this, and making it very
Right.
mystique, as if it's something that. That's why it gives me pause for thought of like a Lies of P sequel or even a Persona 6. Like you're wrapping this up in a way where it's like, not to say that this is what it is, but like a Shenmue or something that's completely crazy and
Yeah.
deep, or Lost Odyssey 2. That would be, if that's what they come out
Oh.
swinging with, that would be insane.
See, that wouldn't even qualify because like the franchise moniker or whatever, like a
Mm.
legacy franchise. So I would think of something like I think a Persona would count. I think Persona is legendary at this point. I think a Final Fantasy is obviously legendary, but new entry into a beloved like then it's Final Fantasy 6 remake. I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like, then you think about Resident Evil, of course, and of course that's where I want it to go always, but do they reveal it at Xbox Direct?
I don't think they have a deep tie with Capcom, do they? Really? They're
I
not.
mean,
They're not
Kinetsugami,
pally-pally.
Exoprimal,
That's
Game
like
Pass
the
Day
scrap.
1.
When you break it down and
Yeah.
like be very brutal and honest, that's like they're giving Xbox scraps.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, but it could be anything. That'll be my two things. I'll happily have.
Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate you, Loon. This has been a fucking blast, man. So pumped for this live streaming era of Unnecessary Rambling. Tune in January 23rd, right? 23rd?
I believe so. 6 p.m. UK
Yeah.
time, and then you said what? 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Central Time, but regardless, I think we can do scheduled posts. We'll schedule it and figure all that shit out. But yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in. It has been a blast to chat with y'all, shoot the breeze, make sure I haven't missed any live chats here. Okay, we do have a couple. Guild Master Story says they think it could be a new Square Enix IP. A new IP? I mean, I would love to see that. Like maybe not main studio, but one of the subsidiaries. And then Timic says they'll announce Final Fantasy 16 for Xbox and then Final Fantasy 17. Yeah, that would be so
That would
wild
be
if
a
they announced Final Fantasy
1-2
17.
punch. That would be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Well, hey, we'll talk a lot more about it very, very soon. So stick around, subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Loon, thank you so much for all the behind the scenes work, man. I know that is a lot to put on. The whole OBS system in general is a bitch to hassle with. So thank you so much, my friend.
All good. We worked it out in the end. Even the little wobbles that we had, we figured it all out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, take it easy, and we shall see you very soon. Goodbye.
See you later.